Hello, loyal comic book readers, and welcome to another episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
I guess I shouldn't be saying another episode. It sounds like, another episode. No. Welcome to an all-new, extra special, unmatched episode of Off the Rack, the comic book review show, where I am Sal, and this is Tiffany, my wife, and we chat about comic books. I know we just introduced ourselves, but I'm trying new things.
I know. I'm feeling a lot of pressure now with that opening. Like, this is going to be like a heck of an episode.
I think it will be, because they all are. And if you are interested in watching us review books that have come out over a year ago, you should be watching all the episodes of Off the Rack. If this is your first episode, you got hundreds of episodes to get through. Not to mention all the old episodes that were on our other channel, youtube.com/ComicPop. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and click the bell for notifications and all the other GD nonsense that YouTube makes us go through in order to let us keep doing this. Also, if you want to help sponsor today's show, you can sponsor our show by using the super chats. Ask a question or comment, we'll read it here on the show, and it'll be part of the show forever, and it'll help to keep all the riffraff out. I don't want to have to shill for some company that wants...
I will.
Oh, I know I will. I'll do it in a heartbeat, especially if they pay me better than you guys do, so make sure to outbid them.
Do not listen to Sal. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I know exactly what I'm talking about. I do this for a living. But yeah, so we got tons of comic books. We talk about, of course, the news and reviews and recommendations. We also have a book of the week, which we've been consistently doing over the last 3 episodes.
That's all me. Let's be honest.
Yep.
Who is it? It's me.
It's you. Yeah, you're the brains behind the outfit.
I am not.
Tiffany is the reason why Back Issues exists on our sister channel, youtube.com/ComicPop. Tiffany's the reason why Off the Rack kept going. I had to tell the story about how like Off the Rack used to be like pre-recorded, and then one day Ethan took me out to dinner like he was breaking up with me, and he was like, I can't read comic books on a weekly basis anymore. This has to end. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, are you quitting the whole thing? He's like, no, I just don't want to do this. And I'm like, oh, well, you could have just texted me that.
I think that's really sweet.
It was super cool.
That shows like respect.
No, Ethan
like,
is the most respectful and professional member of the channel we have.
100%.
And I was the one who was like, what? Okay. I think it's because I'm very afraid of conflict and I'm risk avoidant. And I was like, oh, you mean that show that half the audience watches? You don't want to do it anymore? That's fine.
We like that half the audience.
But I love this half of the audience. Well, I think we've built up a brand new half of that audience. We've completely engineered a whole new group of people who are here for live conversations about comics.
Because you're the best.
No, you're the best.
I meant the audience.
Oh, yes. No, they're the best.
You're also fine.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, so in terms of news, before we get into the comic book world,
news, reviews, and previews.
Unfortunately, we have a little bit of sad news. One of our illustrious veterans of the comic book industry, Ramona Fradin, passed away, creator of Metamorpho, and just working all the way to the end. Like, she was a brilliant artist and creator and just a positive voice in the field of comics. Passed away at the age of 97. So she was like really, she held in for the long haul. And yeah, it's just a wonderful, incredible talent. A lot of really, key members of the industry came out in support of her passing and in support of her identity as a person and as a creator. And, wonderful person and sorely missed. And her contributions will not be forgotten. In fact, her creation, Metamorpho, will be appearing in a friggin' movie, in a Superman movie of all things.
That's great.
Within a year or so. But in addition to that, DC announced that there's going to be a book called Absolute Power, an event that's coming out in the next little while. I believe in the summer of 2024. It is going to be written by Mark Waid with art by Dan Mora, and it's like, oh yeah, duh. The creative team behind Batman, Superman, World's Finest is being elevated to essentially like what the status quo of DC should be. Yeah, makes perfect sense to me.
I feel like there is some writer-artist combos that just go hand in hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Waid and Mora are really getting up there.
They are.
And like inevitably people I think will be talking about them like they do Snyder Capullo.
Yeah, I think so. I think especially if DC does their due diligence, say that 3 times fast, but and really sells the World's Finest brand harder than they have.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see that it went from like the little book that could to everyone's favorite DC book. Like literally people were talking about how no one's reading this book, myself included. And I was reading the book, but I was telling people like, yo, you got to read this book. And I heard through the grapevine that the book was not selling very well. And now I don't know how the book's selling, but I do know that it is more beloved than ever. It's 24 issues. It's one of the longest running series at DC at this point consecutively without any relaunches or anything,
Right.
which means one's on the horizon, I'm sure. Unless it was at
No.
Marvel, in which case after 6 issues, I got to reboot it. That way you can keep that trajectory going down. But yeah, I'm thrilled that this team is given an opportunity to like put it on the big screen. Let's go. Absolute power. And it kind of like takes the ideas of the last Dawn of DC period, you know, like the elevation of Amanda Waller as a bad guy or as a main evil player in the DC universe to Failsafe showing up and there's something happening with a female Brainiac. I don't know anything about that. I'm not reading
These
that
are
book.
stunning.
Oh yeah, no, the pages from Dan Mora that are released
my
already.
God.
Yeah, I'm hyped. And of course, yeah, Superman falling
He will be selling this poster
at the next convention.
Yeah, that he can.
Yep. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Instead of any once and future copies, you will only see that poster and all of his Power Ranger stuff. In fact, there's actually there's a beautiful moment in Batman Superman World's Finest number 24 that essentially shows you the future of the Kingdom Come universe, and it is basically just like, oh, Dan Mora also wanted to draw everybody as Power Rangers, and so everybody's got like crazy helmets and like fun armor, and it's like, yeah, Dan Mora couldn't help himself. I get it. But yeah, no, this series has continued to be amazing. I actually was remarking on to myself, of course, as I often am when I'm reading comic books, that while it was fun to see the Kingdom Come universe through the eyes of a young in-canon Batman and Superman, it's being retconned, of course, but I was like, this doesn't really line up. You know, I don't really recognize this Kingdom Come universe. All these characters that are dead, all these other like factors, of course, the reveal that Boy Thunder's actually Magog, like all that stuff. I'm like, what is this?
Right.
And I think for my money, Waid manages to use this one issue and go, oh, okay. Yeah, that fits. It all happened. Fine. I love it.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
we
great.
see Darkseid versus Gog. We see the ascension / declination of Magog. We see Batman and Superman being friends and working together. We see the evolution of the Kingdom Come universe. I mean, just seeing Dan Mora draw Darkseid is like, yeah, that's something I want to see more of. What a shame.
Mora of.
What a shame that he's going to be drawing some like Brainiac thing instead of more Darkseid. But you know what? You got to cool Darkseid off. Darkseid has been a key player in everything for the last, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Let's cool off. I remember when like it was a novelty, like when Darkseid was like a major evil player in the DC animated universe, and it was like, yeah, that's awesome. But of course, that's because you have Michael Ironside playing him. But yeah, Batman Superman World's Finest number 24. Buy it. Buy this entire series. Go back. Pick up 1 through 24. It's totally worth your money and time.
Do it.
Yeah. In addition to that, DC has also moved their release date.
They will be. I think it's not.
Yeah, it's not happening right now.
Yeah.
But soon, very soon. DC will be releasing their comic books on Wednesdays, along with the rest of the effing world. And none too soon. I know that retailers are finally like, yay, I don't have to like work an extra day or hear about it from like 3 people who come into my store going like, how come all the DC books aren't on the shelves right now? But yeah, I think it's great. Good for them for righting a wrong. Like, why don't change it at all?
Right.
But if you have to do anything, change it back. And so they did. That's just nice. It's like, good idea. Good thinking. A lot of good decisions being made over there at this point, you know, from a big event to changing it, your release days to, you know, collaborating with Marvel on books that have been out of print.
Oh, is this like it's 2024, new year, new them?
I hope so. All new, all different DC. Who knows?
I like that.
But yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah.
What else we got? What other new books came out this week?
Oh, is that for news?
I think so, unless there's anything you heard.
I didn't hear anything. I haven't heard anything ever.
That's welcome to the land of the hearing.
Thanks for having me here.
No, it's great.
Yeah, all right. So Luke Cage came out this week.
He did it?
Yep, number 4 of 4. So this is the last of the Gang War Luke Cage tie-in series, right? I had continued reading this because I wanted to support there being a Luke Cage presence, because I'm like, hey, you know what? Luke Cage should have like either an ongoing or the occasional mini. I think you can do a lot with a mini without it being insulting. I think the mini allows some writers to show their best stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and you can make a really big impact. It's like, it's in and out, leaves you wanting more.
Totally.
Like, I see nothing wrong with that. In fact, until Jed MacKay came on the Doctor Strange book, that was really where I was like, we should just be doing minis. Like, we should be doing mini series for some of these characters, because that gets has an opportunity to shine a light on it without DC having, or Marvel or DC having to worry about like, hey, like, is this going to sell? Should I bother to retain these writers and artists for that long?
Yeah.
No, you just know like, hey, it's going to be 8 issues, 10 issues, 6 issues, whatever the story needs,
Mm-hmm.
right? That said, like in a week of really, really strong books, this one wasn't my favorite. It's not. It could be maybe in another week it would have shown a little brighter.
Yeah.
But it's also like tethered to this ongoing story, so they can't really do much in it.
Yeah.
Because this isn't the book where they're going to get rid of the vigilante, like
legislation.
Yeah, they're not going to do that in this book, even though this is definitely the book it would make sense to do it in. Luke is the mayor,
right?
But like, I don't blame the team on like this book for that decision. I don't think they had a choice. I think they're just like doing the story that they're allowed to do within their 4 issues. Of course, written by Rodney Barnes with art by Ramon F. Box. But yeah, this is just a big fight. We get a little like, hey, let's look at Luke, coming up in his old like Power Man suit outfit thing. You had like the armor. He's fighting Smythe. Yeah. Spider Slayer, new Sentinel style bots. And inevitably he loses that armor and he just goes,
I'm Luke Cage
and like wears like his, regular clothes, gets rid of the other costume, that kind of thing. And like at the end of the day they win and there's like a lot of nice messages in this in terms of like working collaboratively with like, it's interesting. I'm not sure what the message is here because like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, the cops in this were portrayed as being like, we're following the letter of the law, so that means we have to deal with the vigilante issues, and yet these are also police who are willing to charge into the fray and like actually try to protect people versus like these robots. So like in this, like Cage is like, well, are you gonna arrest us over this? He's like, listen, if we live through this, we'll see, right? Like, and at the end of the day they're like, listen, like this whole thing's stupid.
Yeah.
And so we should all be working together.
Agreed. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. But
there's
like
a message of collaboration, but I don't know how that sits necessarily. I haven't really thought too much about it. But like I said, this book really should have been the book where they got rid of the legislation because you're dealing with the mayor.
Yeah.
And they're not allowed to do it. And so I think they just had to kind of finish this issue out and move on. Like they're not allowed to do a whole lot.
Yeah, you can't have like a crucial moment or plot point happen in Gang War in a tie-in.
Yeah.
But then again, there's no Gang War book, so they're all tie-ins. So what book would it happen in? I guess Spider-Man, because if you're going to kill Kamala Khan or have any legislation passed, you got to have it happen in a Spider-Man book.
Well, presumably, I mean, Spider-Man is specifically referenced where they're just like, Spider-Man's out there and like he's fighting for his life. So we got to all do the same. We got to come together as a city and fight back to take what, our home, basically.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's very nice.
It's a nice sentiment.
I do wish that this book could have maybe had a little more natural conclusion because they talked so much about the Vigilante Act. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I think they're going to take care of it in this issue or in this book. And they're like, nah, we can't.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But, it was fun to visit with Luke and, Jess and Danny and everybody else. Like, it was just fun to see them. I do like the Luke-Jess relationship, and I do wish we had more of it.
Yep.
But I noticed I don't know if Comixology, when they display, or Amazon, but Comixology displays their books, if like the bottom one is
related or something,
least selling.
Oh,
I don't know, but they was definitely down like on the bottom of the Marvel listings.
Right.
I was like,
like when we use League of Comic Geeks for their like solicitations and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know if like there's no rhyme or reason seemingly to the order.
Yeah.
Is it in like order of highest pre-orders or sales?
I assumed, or like highest like rated or
I mean, seeing Batman and Ultimate Spider-Man kind of neck and neck, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense to me. And it makes sense to me if like, oh, I don't know, like not to disparage the tomato can, but that being the last one, it's like, yeah, okay. Never heard of that or that publisher. So it makes sense to me if that was like the lowest selling book of the week. If they're putting it in order to that.
Right. But like it was like the end, it's over, we're done. But it was fun. It's just in a week of really strong books, it just didn't.
Yeah. But there were a lot of books this week.
There were a lot of books this week. This was a week where I was like, my wallet.
Yeah.
Like this was a hard week, and not because there was like bad stories. It's just there was a lot.
Yes.
It's just a lot this week.
Yeah, no, it's true. Speaking of super chats, not really, but Tony Connor says, "ComicPop Woo, here's your Amalgam event, Infinity Crisis. Eobard Thawne kidnaps and kills Access, trying to get the Infinity Stones. P.S. What you all do matters. F Pariah, live forever." Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Tony. Appreciate it.
Tony knows what's up.
Yeah, no argument there.
Tony is officially a super fan.
Yeah, I like the idea of Eobard Thawne being in a crisis.
Right? Yeah. How come? How do we tie in? I feel like we need to tie in like Quicksilver and Eobard somehow.
Yeah. Quicksilver's never been as fast as any Flash.
Okay, fine. But maybe that's part of the thing. He's like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like the Speed Force is leeching into the Marvel universe.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And he's like, something's wrong. Like, I'm out of control.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. I'd love the idea that like suddenly Quicksilver was really fast, or faster. He's the fastest man alive.
Right. And Eobard shows up and like, he's like, hey, you have fun with it.
Right, exactly.
Let me show you what you can do with this.
Yeah.
Let me lead you down the path that rocks.
Amin Perez says, hi, Sal. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi.
Really enjoying us so far. This kind of Ultimate Spider-Man. This is kind of decompressed storytelling I enjoy. Really cool to see you on the Comic Pals channel. Yeah, they're good. They're good folks. I'm glad they invited me. The Red Samurai, thanks for your generosity. Did you guys read World's Finest last week? What an incredible story. Fingers crossed you and Benny do a video about Mark Waid's run. Would love to see Waid do solo Superman and Batman runs in his timeline, maybe a Justice League too. If you've actually ever seen Waid come on the channel before, he talks about how he's like, I don't really want to do a Batman story. Like, he likes Batman, but he doesn't want to do a Batman book.
Good for him.
Just doesn't have any interest in it.
That's like super refreshing.
I know. He's not like, I have just stop me if you've heard this before, but I have a really great idea for a Batman story. It involves the Joker, and it's the biggest effing Joker story you've ever heard in your life. He doesn't know. He doesn't really connect with Batman, so he's like, I don't really like.
I love that.
I know, I like that too. It also helps that it's like, you're Mark Waid. You have a legacy. You don't need to like worry about what. You don't need to like suddenly make a Batman book in order to get your brand out there.
Yeah.
Benny and I could do a video, or we could do one here, and it'd be much better. Cool Man Cottonham says, wanted to ask why back in the day you only did the first half of Ultimates 1 on the couch and not the second half with the alien invasion. Did you get confused with Ultimates 2, which is about Loki? I'm sure I did. It was 100 years ago, and the reality is I only do the books that I had on hand, and if I only had the first half of the book, and that's what we did. Hulkzilla, happy Monday, you guys. Got the chance to read Ultimate Spider-Man 2 and found it to be really wholesome and funny. Hope you guys have read some fun and enjoyable books too. Well, let's find out. I also read James Bond 007 #2 from Garth Ennis and Rafa Labosco from Dynamite. I was like, let me keep reading this. It's a Garth Ennis book. It's like 007 series. It's in its own universe, its own book, it's its own version of these characters, and it reads like a 007 book. Yeah.
Can I just say what I hope everyone else is thinking? I can't believe you're reading a James Bond book.
Well, I've seen every James Bond movie outside of the Daniel Craig movies.
I'm just saying, you're reading Transformers, you were reading Transformers, you're reading G.I. Joe, and now you're reading 007. What is happening?
It's Garth Ennis.
All right.
I want to see what Garth Ennis has to say, and it's like it's very dry, and this issue in particular was very wordy and dry, and it introduced some tenets like Felix was introduced in it. We see it reads and feels very much like a 007 James Bond movie, like an older one where here's the problem, and it's ridiculous. Like the Soviets invented a cold bomb, the English stole it, the Soviets detonate it, and now we have to deal with it because it's out there. And then they say that like 100 times in different places. Like Moneypenny and M have a conversation about it, and Felix and James Bond have a conversation about it, and like the bad guys have a conversation about it. And it's just the same shit over and over again, but everyone's saying it in different ways. And I'm like, like as a kid, you think James Bond is like impenetrable and adult. And then you watch one and you're like, no, it's not. It's super simple. It's like super really dry and boring because everyone's saying the same shit over and over and over and over again. It's the same stuff, but they're saying it with British accents in different locales, like only one of them is taking place in like some place that's relatable, like Louisiana. Like it's all just in like, we're in Moscow, or in Istanbul, or in Timbuktu, and the MacGuffin is gonna blow up the such and such, and James Bond is gonna hit some woman probably. Like, that's the movie series. I like James Bond a lot, but it's just like it ain't rocket science, except for the ones about rocket science. This is fine. Like it replicates the experience of like watching an old James Bond movie, which is kind of fun. But
is this your last one, you think?
I'll read the third one because I think it needs these kinds, like every James Bond movie needs those scenes, like dry, boring conversation. But that's what it is. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if like sales drop down, but it's weird because it's Garth Ennis, right? And people are like, oh my God, what's Garth gonna do? And it's like, he's gonna tell a James Bond story. Like this is clearly just his spec script for like a James Bond movie that he wrote like when he was probably like 19.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah, I dig it, and the art's fun, and it got super violent out of nowhere. Like James Bond is falling from a great height after like having beaten a bunch of assassins in like a lower level of the room. And so he's like, oh, well, and like lands on the dude's head feet first and just crushes his head. And just like, whoa. And then you remember like, oh yeah, like unlike the movies, which can never get dark lest they, cross that line and suddenly can't be watched by children, despite the fact that no children would watch James Bond. These comics can go really far. Like we could have like James Bond is one of like the sexiest franchises in the world, and yet there's no nudity and there's no like real sex scenes. They're all very simple and prudist. It's like, oh no, they're kissing a lot, and then it like, oh, let's do the paint into a fireplace. And I'm sure in this one it's not going to be like that. It's going to be much more frank and open about it. And that's kind of fun in its own way. It's like, oh yeah, James Bond murders like 100 people per movie, and yet they all die like this. So yeah, he crushed the dude's head, and I'm like, right on.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. That's a little bit more real. James Bond is a racist in the first book, and now he's a violent murderer in the second book. He was racist against Italians, so people, no one got upset. But yeah, that's it. Because James Bond is a racist. Like, this, he's a xenophobic jerk.
Right.
At least in the Ian Fleming books.
Right.
But anyway, there you have it. James Bond. I'll read the third one. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
We had more super chats. Let me see.
Oh, sure.
Ray Farr says, ComicPop Woo. I was hanging out with a friend and saw she had a signed prints from Jim Stranko in her house. She said they were gifts from her mom. That's really cool.
Oh, what a cool gift.
Yeah. I've seen Jim Stranko before. He's cool. I've never met him, but like I've seen him from afar.
There he is.
ComicPop Woo, been on a different schedule, so I haven't been able to catch you guys live. Hope you all are doing wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hope you are too. Question, clarification, Amalgam. Is it new Amalgam or a collection of the old Amalgam stuff? Thanks, friends. No problem. Arduit. Next question. No, I'm kidding. The question actually was the new omnibuses. They're just reprints. There's going to be 2 omnibuses, which they shouldn't be named this. Okay, there's 2 omnibuses. The first one is called, or one of them is called Amalgam. It's DC versus Marvel Amalgam, I believe, but I think they're just calling it Amalgam.
Okay.
And that will include most of the Amalgam books.
Okay.
I used to say all, but Gerard Jones wrote a couple of them, so now it includes most of them.
Okay.
Because they cut out 2 of them, because Gerard Jones wrote some of them. I wonder how Mark Waid feels about having written half of those issues. So that sucks, and it sucks for a variety of reasons. For one thing, like, why do creators have to freaking be horrible people? But what more important, like,
they want people to be horrible people.
Right? I don't. It's frustrating because I'm like, yeah, but those books exist. I mean, like, I think it's so that he doesn't get residuals. And
well, yeah. And I mean, like, there's a difference between someone like making art and someone making art for a business. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I know.
It's not like just a painting that's in a museum where like it's in the museum and that person's not making anything off of it.
Yeah,
and, like,
no, but this is
to be studied and talked about and discussed, and because it's part of history. And then there's the other element of like, well, I'm also a business, so
well, and he's a business, so it's like, if they reprint Prime, like, he's gonna get a check, and if they reprint his books and the Amalgam books, he's gonna get a check, and we don't want to do that. But I wonder, I question their like morality and whether it's the optics of it or if it's the genuine feeling of like morality. But in any case, so the Amalgam book is only going to have like some of the Amalgams, but honestly, like, it's okay. It's the Metal Men book, whatever. But so the Amalgam book is going to have almost all the Amalgams and DC versus Marvel, 1 through 4.
Okay.
Then there's another omnibus coming out at the same time called DC versus Marvel. That one is going to collect all the crossovers that happened from the 70s to the 90s.
Yes.
So
I guess that makes sense.
It makes sense, but they should call it DC and Marvel, because literally all of the crossovers, out of all of them, none of them say character versus character. Oh. It's actually funny because when we do crossovers on back issues and it's Spider-Man and Batman, or, Superman and Silver Surfer, I'll put Spider-Man versus Batman as the title, because I know that the audience is going to go, sweet.
Then that's probably what they're banking on.
But like the comic book industry never did that until now, where they're like, oh, DC Marvel? Well, it should be DC and Marvel because it's literally a co-production that they work together on. But we're gonna call it DC versus Marvel, even though there's a book called DC versus Marvel, and it will not be in the DC versus Marvel omnibus. DC versus Marvel is going to go into the Amalgam omnibus, which is fine because it actually makes sense to be there because. Technically, Amalgam takes place in between issues 3 and 4 of DC vs. Marvel.
I think they're banking on the fact that everyone's going to buy both of them anyway.
I think they should, but like also please do. But yeah, no. But anyway, so the DC vs. Marvel omnibus is going to have like Spider-Man, and actually I think it is Spider-Man versus Superman because they do technically fight. But Spider-Man and Superman, Batman, Hulk, X-Men, Titans, but also stuff like Batman, Punisher, and Superman, Fantastic Four, and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's we're not getting any new amalgams yet. And I don't know, I know that there's some creators who have watched the show who might actually appear on this show or shows like it on this channel, and I can say solemnly as a content creator on the internet that no one has told me anything about what's happening between DC and Marvel.
No, and like I don't think they ever would. You're too excited about it.
I am too excited about it. I was a little disappointed. Someone may have gotten a text message when I saw the news going, "For real? You holding out on me? We've been talking about this for the last 2 years." And then I just see about it on the news, and he's like, "Hey, yeah." I'm like, well, I thought we were pals.
No, there's no way. There's no way.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not. And I want to be employed."
Yeah, no, you can't. No one can tell you about that, or if they're doing something with Predator.
Yeah,
those are the two things you can't tell Sal about.
No,
you can't.
You should though, because I'll hype it up for you. I promise.
Would you be like?
I've never done that. I've never done that. There's been stuff that's been announced, huge stuff, and maybe there's stuff that's huge that might one day come out that I've never said anything about.
I know,
where I've seen it and I'm like, oh,
you're like, this is different.
Yeah, Marvel DC crossovers are a special spot for me, but like, and as far as JLA Avengers goes, that's not in the crossover collection, which is a real shame. But here's what I want.
Okay, what do you want?
2 things.
Yeah.
A JLA Avengers oversized edition, like the hardcover they put out when they first did it.
Yeah.
DC has the rights to do that, so they could have done it at any time. It's a shame, but obviously, like Perlmutter was the reason why they limited it to like 700-800 copies, and why the most recent trade, which only came out a couple of years ago, was like $1,000 on eBay, which is horrible and monsters for everybody. But I expect that with the omnibuses, we will probably see a reissue of the hardcover of JLA Avengers, which is a smart move.
Yeah.
In addition to that,
oh boy,
those of you out there who work in the at Dark Horse or IDW who make these oversized editions, Walt Simonson has been posting some pages from the X-Men Titans crossover, just because he has them, and they're gorgeous looking. And I'm talking about the pages like pre-color, like just as sketches. Make that too. Just the Titans X-Men oversized edition. It's also a shame, and this is something I was talking about with another creator, that a couple of them, Spider-Man, Superman, and Batman, Hulk specifically, they're big. They're these bigger, larger format books. So when they go in the omnibus, they're going to have to get shrunk down.
Yeah.
So it's a shame they can't do that. Maybe you could put out a large edition of those.
You're really getting greedy.
Look,
I'm just saying. You're already getting 2 omnibuses,
which I have pre-ordered. They're bought and paid for.
Nice.
They will arrive on my doorstep.
Money where your mouth was.
Damn right. But I think that that would be nice. Even if it was just like a reprint, like a facsimile edition.
I feel this feels a little like if you give
a mouse a cookie.
Yeah. If you give a Sal
a crossover,
he's gonna want another.
But my thinking is, I think that everyone who works in the industry right now, who is over the age of 30, wants to do one. They want to do an amalgam and they want to do a crossover. And if you have drawn up contracts to print omnibuses that are going to charge people $130 a book, cheaper if you order them someplace else. I'm sure In Stock Trades will have some, but I saw one store has them for like 30% off. Just Google them. But they're going to charge you $130, but like a book, it's like, well, you have the contracts already in place. Let's let's do the next one, you know? Wouldn't it be nice to fill an entire omnibus of the new generation of amalgams / crossovers? Jim Lee drew the cover for the Amalgam crossover, or for the Amalgam omnibus. That says that they're putting their money where their mouth is. Like, Jim Lee didn't draw any of that crap back when he had every right to, because, like, you know, he was Jim Lee back then. And he's just as Jim Lee now, but, like, you know, but now he's in charge. It's like, dude, come on, you know, come on.
Okay.
Anyway, because I don't think I've ever seen a Jim Lee Spider-Man book. A Batman Spider-Man Jim Lee would be pretty cool,
right? Okay, we're 30 minutes in. We've done 3 comics.
I know. I'm sorry. I read Nightwing number 111. Nightwing 111 from Tom Taylor and Sammy Basri is more of the same, which is good. You know, it's good stuff. There's a copycat killer in Gotham that's killing people like the Heartless from Bloodhaven, and Batman's like, I'm gonna call my son Dick and invite him to guide this case, and there's an orphan boy involved in the case, so
oh no,
everyone's upset and everyone has personal stakes in it. It's great. It's just like it's nice. It's just a very nice book.
Yeah.
And you watch Batman and Nightwing working together well. You see Nightwing as a bastion of hope and like guidance for a young boy, and you see them detecting. It's good stuff. So pick up that book if you like Nightwing. If you love Nightwing or Batman, you should read Nightwing 111. It is worth your money.
Nice.
Yeah. I also read Superman 11.
Wait, I have like so many books.
All right, let's do it.
How many books do you have left?
Like 4.
I have like 5 more books.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it. Go for it.
Like, excuse me. I read X-Force number 49. Came out this past week.
Yay! This answers some questions, right?
Oh yeah. This is written by Ben Percy with art by, I don't remember who it is.
Gil.
Yeah. This. I mean, you know what it is? It's we are like the omniscient presence. Are we? No.
What?
Are we that? I don't know. Like, as we're reading it, like,
we
know things that the other characters don't know. Yeah. So, like, obviously X-Force doesn't know that this beast doesn't seem to be a bad beast.
Right.
But when they discover that he's left, they're like, oops, we messed up. Now, now, like, this beast is clearly trying to run off and meet up with the other beast, and who knows what they're going to do. So we better go track him down and kill him.
Yes.
And I'm like,
please don't.
Okay, well, we missed the mark on that one. Could we not? So that's what X-Force is doing. They're like, hey, it's fine. Because, like, initially, Sage attempts to tell Wolverine that, like, well, before they find out that he's bailed,
yes,
that, you know, because Wolverine's like, you know, this beast that you created, essentially, and brought back, has in him the potential to become bad beast. Right. So, yeah. Then she's like, by that same regard, there's an alcoholic in me, so I can never be better.
Right. Thanks, Wolverine.
She's like, and a Weapon X.
Yeah, exactly. You're just nothing but a murderer.
Right. And he's like, And then they find out the beast is gone, and they're like,
told you so. Let's go. Yeah. And Colossus can never be redeemed either.
No, it's fine. We're just kind of ignoring the Colossus in the room, essentially.
Good.
So Beast goes to
find himself.
No, he goes to California and he meets up with Wonder Man.
Oh, sweet.
And, like, Beast is all like, hey. Wonder Man's like,
you're a monster.
Why are you talking to me like that? Like,
right.
Like, we're friends.
Yeah.
And he's like,
because we've been friends forever.
And he's like, okay. So they kind of have a, you know, like, hey, this is what's going on. Meanwhile, other Beast is doing other Beast.
Yeah, it's being a friggin' monster.
Yeah, he's just doing whatever. And, like, Beast is essentially going to team up with Wonder Man. And he's like, I gotta prove myself to X-Force to prove to them, because they think I'm a monster and I'm not. So, like, I gotta help to bring in the other one, so that they know that I'm not a monster. Like, I'm working with them.
And
I'm like, okay,
you're an idiot.
He's just, you know, he's Beast. He's just, you know.
What a terrible idea.
What? He's like, he thinks it's a great idea.
I know he does.
You know,
well, that's Beast's problem, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, whatever. So they are like, X-Force is gonna go get him, and they do find him, and, like,
and they murder him.
And Sage gives him the order to kill, essentially. And I'm like, oh no.
Please don't.
Please don't do that.
We've been trying to fix this.
Yeah. But it does say to be concluded.
Concluded.
So
this is the next one is the last issue of X-Force until they reboot. Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yep.
Oh my god.
So we're finally gonna finish up with Beast. It will be the 50th issue.
Which is pretty cool.
This is incredible. Ben Percy's done some good work with these long running books.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, so like who knows what's gonna happen? I mean, there's like they're talking about how like the thing that Beast stole, I think, makes black holes, the black hole gun.
Oh my god!
And essentially, he wants to take Araco off the map.
And
he's gonna put it in a cosmic vault for safekeeping.
Makes sense to me that they're gonna do that.
And I'm like, wait, hang on. I'm like, if we're using this thing, are we gonna take both beasts off the board?
Probably
both in a vault.
I hope not. That would be annoying.
I don't know. So anyway,
yeah,
I'm here for it, and the cover was really fun. Had a real retro vibe.
Yes,
to it
did. Yeah.
And it was just fun to even just have an issue of like, hey, look, it's Beast.
Yep. He's like, look, I gave you Beast. All right, now they're all both dead.
I'm like, okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah,
thanks. This week I also read John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America, #2.
Yay.
Written by Cy Spurrier with art by Aaron Campbell. Man, this book is just so good. I read issue 1, obviously, when that came out. That was like I was speechless.
Yes.
This issue is just as good. This is a phenomenal series. It's unbelievable. It's listen, if you know Spurrier's work, you know he wrote for The Dreaming when it returned for a bit.
Yes.
And he was not done playing around in that world. And there was a moment in this where they're just like, hey, look, image of some characters that we're going to be dealing with. They don't look like characters you've seen before, but if you know Sandman, you know who it is. And you're like, crap for everyone. Yeah. I don't know, do I say it? Because it's like not, you know what it is for like the 3 people in the chat who would care. You're probably already reading this book. It doesn't matter. The kindly ones are in this, and I am so nervous for everyone involved, and I am so excited. Spurrier just knows his stuff so well, and this book to me feels more related to Sandman, the Sandman that I know and love, than The Dreaming did, because this book is as gritty as old Vertigo used to be. Yeah, man, like Swamp Thing, kindly ones, you know, Daniel / Dream, and it's just a good story.
Yeah.
And like honestly, doing what Vertigo used to do, where it was like, hey, listen, we're gonna tell a story, and it's gonna be like scary and mature, or like just you know a little more dramatic or whatever. But we're also going to talk maybe about some things that are going on in the world, and the story does that too.
Nice.
And I think it's really well handled, and it's just not like shoved down your throat. Just works perfectly within the story, and you're like, but that's exactly how Spurrier wrote the last run on Constantine that he had. So yeah, folks, if you're not reading this book, what's wrong with you? If you have any interest in this character and you're not reading this book, come on.
No, I like the Tom Taylor Black Label book.
That's fine. Listen, if that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm not gonna. It's to each his own. There are so many takes on Constantine that are out there. There's so many different writers who have had their chance at writing John's story, and you know, Spurrier just happens to be one that I really resonate with his tale. So I'm so excited for it. Buying it every week. We'll probably buy it, you know, in multiple ways that I can. I'm just thrilled with this book, and it just continues to be incredible. Also, Aaron Campbell's artwork is on just another level. I mean, it is, you know, scary and beautiful and horrific, and just just Spurrier feeling like he fits really well with like Neil Gaiman's storytelling styling without being like, you know, like derivative. Like it's just, it fits, but without being like, I'm trying to be Neil. No, he's doing his own thing. It just happens to just be that they're both really good. So.
We got a little insight about Jordi Belair, the colorist on this book as well. Apparently, she sends colors on her book. It's always different than expected and surprising.
Nice.
I don't blame you.
Oh,
on Gavin's book.
Oh,
but
very
also,
nice.
But Jordi Belair does the colors on this series as well.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
So my understanding though is that with Campbell's work, it's pretty different how colorists will approach it.
Yes. As from your discussion with Aaron Campbell.
Yeah, because like he puts a lot of different layering styles into his book, and so he'll like use a lot of like, you know, stains and you know, just different techniques on it.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting. But like the colorist has to get his work in order to get it correctly.
Yeah.
So Belair is doing an amazing job because like she's really just elevating the work.
Yeah.
Or they. I shouldn't assume.
Fair enough. ChrisFit138, so much speculation about the new Fantastic Four movie has me wondering if I'm the only one that thought that charting in the 60s for Doctor Strange 2 was a Fab Four Beatles joke. Yeah, it was not us. He was not referring to the Fantastic Four. When Mordo says the Fantastic Four, he's making a joke about the Beatles. He has no idea who the Fantastic Four are.
Yeah.
The infamous Mike Manhattan, thoughts on EC Comics returning through Omnipress? I don't have any thoughts on that. I'm sorry. I apologize, but I don't really care. Charlie Hennessian Vacanado says, ComicPop Woo, greetings from Mexico. Loved last week's episode of Back Issues. I would love to see more What If Star Wars comics, especially What If Qui-Gon survived the Phantom Menace. Love the channel. Thank you very much, Charlie. Yeah, I would love to see that too, man. As we said, I would love to see more Qui-Gon. I was really one of the few things that I really wanted to see in Revenge of the Sith, because I read the comic book before I saw the movie, and both are terrible. But is that there's a Qui-Gon cameo? Like Qui-Gon shows up, but he's talking to Yoda, and then and it's literally like it's just his voice,
right.
But Yoda's sitting there in the room, and he's all by himself, and then Qui-Gon's talking. And he's like, "Oh, hey, Qui-Gon, what the hell? I didn't know you could turn invisible and shit. Teach me that before the next movie." And so there's a shot like in Revenge of the Sith where like Yoda's doing it. I'm like, yes, here we go. And then it just cuts. And I'm like, well, that's fine. I'm already three movies deep in the most disappointing experience of Star Wars in my life. Why not be disappointed by another thing that I actually like wanted to see from something that's specifically related to this universe?
Right.
But thank you. But yeah, man, I would love to see more What If, and I would love to do more What Ifs, but based on the views, it's gonna be tough. Judson Anastasio Rudick says, much love to ComicPop fam. Currently reading Incredible Hulk, Blade, Batman, Superman, World's Finest, and IYRTIAD. I don't know what that stands for. I'm sure it's a longer book. I just don't have out of the brain power for it right now. As a Titans fan, would you say it's worth getting into it despite the lukewarm reviews? Yeah, I think like Tom Taylor's Titans book it'll undoubtedly deliver on what you as a Titans fan want. And it's one of the few times the Titans exist in a vacuum outside of the Justice League world. So there you go. What else we got?
Let's talk about, where is it? Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh, yay. Speaking of crossovers that Sal dropped.
What?
Speaking of crossovers and books that Sal doesn't read.
Yeah, I read it though, and I like it a lot. This is fun. This is just a fun series, man. Yeah. You know, it's funny. The Justice League in this book make a lot of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know what? Makes total sense. They've never faced any like these characters before. Like they're just making mistakes, and I'm like, okay, yeah, fair. So it turns out though that Lois has a contact in with the supervillains.
Okay.
And so she's getting a little extra information. It's Mercy.
Okay, that's fun.
The idea here is that like sometimes Lex goes too far, and when that happens, Mercy will reach out to Lois and let her know.
That's great.
Some stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's fun.
That's dope. Like sometimes she's just like, okay, this is going on.
Yep.
You're gonna need to stop this.
Right.
And I'm gonna act surprised when it happens.
Yep.
Okay, ready? Oh no. How did they find us?
Yeah.
Everyone, even Mercy, is concerned that like Superman might be down.
Yes.
And they're like, because like presumably if you live in a world where there is like almost a living God and then he goes down, you're going to be a little concerned about how things are going to turn out.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget Godzilla had been fighting beneath the sea near Atlantis when they had released the Kraken.
Awesome. Finally.
But so the three of them, like Godzilla, the other monster, and the Kraken, they're off. They're doing their thing. There is a crack in the dome.
Yes.
So some folks are going to go try to find the beacon. Some of our heroes to lure the monsters away, Godzilla and such. Others are going to try to fix the dome, or at least protect it.
Yes. When
Godzilla and the fight return, they attempt to stop it, but they end up actually kind of not making it worse. Like they can't stop it. Yeah, and so like they crash into the dome, and Atlantis is seemingly lost.
These guys are really screwing up.
Hal like jumps in.
Oh, creates a dome.
Yep, or tries to.
Okay.
And you know, he's like, I can't hold it. They're trying desperately to do anything to help out.
Yeah.
But not to worry, as the dome or as his powers are waning, John Stewart and some of the other Lantern Corps show up.
Great.
And save the day, and it's lovely.
Yeah.
There's a really great moment where they're talking about what is it that they're actually talking about? What scientific thing? Oh yeah, okay. So they're talking about like the dome and like what would happen to it, like since it's cracked initially before it breaks, and like, you know, like we have to fix this before it'll collapse, blah blah blah. And like Flash explains what that means, like, you know, it's like a balloon and something bad happens. Green Lantern's just like, are you Flash splaining me?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's funny.
Funny.
Like, just, you know, can't help himself.
No, he's got to get Flash facts.
He's like, I got that. I got Flash facts. Here we go. Let's do it. Green Arrow had been going after the League of Assassins to figure out what they're doing with the skull that they stole. He's like being stealthy, or he thinks he is. And then like for a minute, he's like, did I just say everything I was thinking out loud? They're like, no, we just knew you were here. Right. Ends up blowing himself off the ship. He's like, all right, I'll be back. I'll be back. This didn't work out. Like Green Arrow has so far not had like a high,
win.
A win necessarily. But he's doing his thing. He's trying his hardest. Batman and others, like a part of the Bat family, and I think the Titans are attempting to build a machine seemingly that might use the Speed Force, I don't know, in order to possibly send everyone back where they need to be.
Great.
So they're working that through, and they've sent Kara back to deal with Kong, or to talk with Kong. And when she arrives, Grodd is there with a whole bunch of apes.
Sure.
And
like, oh.
Yeah, and like she's like, I don't think that's what you're really here for. I don't know what that's all about. And she's like, don't worry, Grodd, you can't use your silly mind powers on me. But it turns out he has some sort of kryptonite horn attached to his helmet, and he's able to take control of Kara's mind, and she starts fighting Kong. So now we have like a Kara versus Kong kind of a moment there.
Okay, that's fun.
Right, it's cool. Shazam has been feeling pretty bad.
Yeah, because he's the reason why Superman's dead.
Yeah, so he decides he's going to do something, and they're like, hey, we need you to come back. We need help. And he's like, all right, here's what I decided to do. I decided to go after the Legion of supervillains, essentially. And, you know, I'm going to take them on. And they're like, don't do that. But if you're there, you could at least give us some intel. And he's like, it's a little late. Like, I'm
already
inside,
there. Yeah.
And I'm already punching people. But like he's like immediately taken down because Giganta just like punches downwards, which is hilarious because after that happens, someone's like, did Giganta just kill Blockbuster? And like, who cares? And I'm like, who's that, Sal?
Yeah, right? Who cares? It's Blockbuster. Nobody cares. It's like fair. Can't argue with that.
Exactly. In the end, though, Aquaman manages to shackle Godzilla. Down there, so like, all right, we got him. I'm like, sure, for right now. And so you realize you either have to get rid of him, or like release him, or that he just breaks free, because they have figured out that Godzilla is there as a force of nature, essentially to bring balance. And since he's here and he's in a weird place, like he doesn't know what the balance is,
right?
And so he's been lashing out.
Okay,
right?
All right, that's a good explanation.
But some of them are still. Like some of the heroes maybe don't know that just yet, and so they are treating him like a bad guy. Meanwhile, Lex in his power suit is taking on a larger power suit.
Okay,
which I am delighted by.
Yeah,
Lex is going in to operate Mecha Godzilla.
Okay. Where'd he get it, or did they make it?
No, they pulled it through,
okay.
or what have you. And essentially he's going to show them who the Alpha is.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm just thrilled by this concept.
Yep.
I'm like, yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, Luthor can't help himself. He just needs a big suit.
You
know, like when Superman showed up, he needed a power suit so he could stand toe to toe with Superman. When Godzilla is here, well, you're gonna have to put on something a little larger.
Yeah.
So it's such a Lex move. I really like this series is starting to like heat up for me. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, you're watching your heroes make a bunch of mistakes. Oh, also Ra's al Ghul.
Oh no.
Is doing something with that skull or what have you. Yeah. And there's a huge Lazarus pit.
Yeah.
What I really like about this series is that like something has occurred, right? Here's a thing that has happened. And now all of a sudden there's like kaiju in the world, right?
Yes.
And they're all over the place. And there's a lot of different groups who are just taking like advantage of what's happening. And I'm like, that is what would happen.
Yeah.
It wouldn't just be one guy.
No.
They'd all be like, oh,
how about me?
I've got a plan. Yeah. Grodd's like, oh, I got a plan. Ra's al Ghul's like, I got a plan. And Lex is like, I definitely have a plan.
That's fun.
I'm like, that's neat.
A lot of moving parts.
Fun stuff.
That's
fun
fun.
stuff. And then like, look at this. Look at this picture of Raish.
Yeah, he looks great. Yeah. Good
stuff. I'm thrilled.
Hooray. Well, I read Wonder Woman #6. I know you meant to. Tom King,
Thanks,
Daniel
Steve,
Sampere. This is a book that, like, you know, even if you don't like it, you love it because the art's amazing. Sampere's just crushing it. I've never seen a book that looks like this. This cover in particular is just phenomenal. All the covers have been freaking great. We're taking a break for issue 7, I believe, and then we're going to come back to the action in issue 7 or issue 8 rather, because Sampere needs a break from all the friggin' work he's doing.
Yeah.
But if you haven't already been reading this book,
I guess the 6 issues is kind of a like you could treat that as
as like an arc.
So this could be like the in-between issue, and then we get back to the next arc.
Exactly. The backup, of course, by Belen Ortega and Tom King is delightful. Trinity won't go to sleep, and so John and Damian try to come up with a solution, multiple solutions, and they just bicker until Damian finally like gives in to what Trinity wants, which is to go to the moon to like tucker herself out. It's really cute. It is so cute and so like just delightful. It's such a great book.
I love that.
The backups have been phenomenal. I'm so glad that they're separating them and putting them into their own trades.
Yeah.
But like, there's a sequence that I'm going to show Tiffany that I want her to see, just like of when Giganta like attacks Wonder Woman, because the whole book, this whole issue of issue 6 is all the characters that were built up in the last issue fighting Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Whoa.
And yeah, just the image of Giganta's hand.
Yeah, that's really scary.
It's so scary. I've never seen it like.
That's very Attack on Titan.
Look at that.
It's a little much.
That's a real hand.
Yeah.
It just, but it doesn't look like it was, you know, it doesn't look like it's superimposed or something. It's part of the action. It's part of the story. Every page has something like that in it. But, you know, Wonder Woman fights Cersei and Giganta and Captain Psycho and the Triangle Man. Like, work together. Captain Psycho. No, yeah, I think it is Captain Psycho. I can't remember his name. But Dr. Psycho, thank you. Yeah, it's just a great, cool, big fight.
Yeah.
Where everybody just piles on Wonder Woman, like one after another, until Grail comes back and just eats Wonder Woman's lunch until Wonder Woman like rallies and beats her ass. And it's really cool. And I was like, wow, like, you know, Tom King's clearly like a big Golden and Silver Age fan. Mm-hmm. And it's fun to see him use characters that have been relatively more recent, you know, like Grail. I'm like, all right, yeah, good use of Grail.
Yeah.
All right. I haven't seen Grail used in any significant effect in a while. And so it was cool to see like just an actual like battle between the two of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just really awesome. It's just a great looking fight. And you know, I will ding it on this. You know, it's not a ding, because it's from the perspective of like of an asshole talking to Trinity. Like the whole damn book is, you know, is structured around that.
Yeah.
But it's really verbose. Like this issue in particular was just so it was not it's not, you know, I understand, and it, you know, it wasn't like it was just, it's not like it was overly wordy, but the words that were chosen just, it felt very like, it felt like an episode of Dawson's Creek.
Oh.
And not in like a juvenile way, but like I remember hating Dawson's Creek when it was on.
Yeah.
Because everybody used like bigger words than their demographic would use.
Okay.
And not always correctly. King uses all the words right, but it's just like it was very word. It was, you know, it was a little much. You know, a little overly dramatic, a little pomp and circumstance going on. You know, like there's moments where it's like, you know, he's building up this moment for this character to say something like really like a triumphant, and it's like you could have just had them say it.
If I may, isn't this story being told like a story?
Yes.
So if you were telling such story, you would probably do that.
Yeah, I agree.
It wouldn't just be like,
but
okay, now everyone close your eyes and imagine what it would look like if they had a big, cool fight. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, no, it's a little much. Okay. That's all I'm saying. You know, I've seen this structure done before, and I've seen it done a little less like over the top.
Okay.
And not an over the top in a way where it's like, I don't know. Yeah, no, exactly like that. Nice. It's a good book. It's still great. I love it. But
I haven't had a chance to read it, so
I know.
I can't.
And I don't want to color your opinion of it, but like,
you won't. I have my own opinion.
I clearly, but like, it's just it was a little much.
Okay.
But I want you to see this. Like when Cersei uses too much power,
Yeah.
like she used all this power, and so she's tapped out. And when she's tapped out, she turns into a cat and falls asleep.
Oh, I want that. I want that to be my life.
Like, oh no, I'm too tired.
Yeah. Oh no, my social battery is depleted.
Yeah.
I'm a cat.
Yep. I am a cat. But yeah, like it's just I've
yeah.
like folks, like you need to take heed and pay attention to these kinds of things. Like DC book, no, there's no big 2 book that looks like this book.
No.
Like it and that and as much as like I did complain, it's still spectacular. And Tom told Samper what to draw. It wasn't like, it's not just like, and King just took a backseat and let Samper just do whatever. That being said, like, I'm sure that Samper had some amazing insight and he definitely made his own suggestions.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I'm just saying, like, it's a group effort and it was a really well done, like, execution. Yeah. It's the best looking book that DC's putting out.
Okay. I have no.
Oh, except for Superman 78 is also great.
Well, I mean, and like Hellblazer.
And Hellblazer.
Like, that's such.
I guess that's not fair to say. Yeah, no, there's actually it's a really good time for DC actually.
Yeah, well, I would say too, it's like there's something weird about considering Hellblazer because as much as Vertigo is birthed out of DC, and many of the Vertigo titles started as DC books. There is something strange about calling them DC books. I don't know.
Yeah. No, they're just nailing it.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, thank you.
No, there are some really great looking books out there right now. 100%.
So that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
6. Buy more.
Yeah, please do. I got 2 more.
All right, let's hear it.
I read Gods this week.
Yay! Which apparently is ending at issue 8.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on that? Because I know that like.
Listen, I get it, but I wish there was more.
I've heard 2 camps. I've heard that either Gods was always going to be 8 or that the book has been canceled. I saw a quote from Hickman that said, if they want more, like if the book is a runaway success, they'll make more. But it's ending at 8. So like
to me says it's like the Hellblazer thing was.
Yeah.
It was like
we have more.
We technically were signed up for this amount, but we had more ready. And
Yes.
I feel like that's probably what this is.
Yep. Like you can expect a book from Image or something written by Jonathan Hickman. It'll be called Deities, and it'll be the rest of it. Just like when Spurrier took after Hellblazer ended the first run, he went away and he did that other book that was really a Hellblazer book.
Kind of. I mean, I think he just had more.
He had more to say.
He had more to say, but like you can't. This book would be easier possibly to do that elsewhere. Hellblazer's a little more difficult. You need John. So yeah, this is Jonathan Hickman with art by Valeria Schiti.
Another great looking book.
Another gorgeous looking book. Gods number 5. This issue did not have Doctor Strange in it, if you're wondering. That's fine. He was
in the first 4.
His part of the book was over.
Oh no.
That's fine.
So he's not coming back?
I don't know. Here's the thing.
It's only got 3 more issues.
Listen, like it's weird. We see a lot of times a writer take a character and want to ascribe certain personality traits or history to them because that's the story they wanted to tell. And you think to yourself, why didn't they just make a new character?
Right.
And then there are times when there is a character and like it's created out of nowhere and you're like, wouldn't that have fit more if it was just this already made character? Right. And this is neither of those things. I just was like struck by that because it would have been very easy for Hickman to just be like, I'm just gonna make Doctor Strange a totally different thing because I want to do that.
And there's rumors that like this was a TV pitch and it was going to be about Doctor Strange and all this stuff. Like there's
sure.
It sounds like he was going to do that, but then didn't. And I think you're suggesting that it's for the best.
Better. I think it's for the better because like Wynn is not Stephen.
Right. He's not
Stephen, and this would have definitely changed him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he just would have been something that this book they would have had to change him in such a way that either he couldn't be what this book needed or it would have changed him in such a way that people would like that was a weird point in Steve's life. Like, what is that? Like,
but then again, like remember when he was young and looked like Keanu Reeves or when he wore a Spawn mask or
but like that's not always the best thing for the character. And so I appreciate however this came about. that someone had some really good forethought and considered what was the best fit for the story.
Yes.
You know, like Wynn is a great character and a great addition. And I like him quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like Hickman's version of Steven,
Steve, yeah.
but like the fact is Wynn is not Steven.
Right.
Like, maybe he could have been Steven back in the day, but like Wynn is not quite, you know, John Constantine, and he's not quite Dr. Stephen Strange. Like, he really has kind of become his own thing, and I really like it a lot.
You like Wynn. You think Wynn's a cool, like, new character.
I'm enjoying it, right? And in this issue, like, we're reminded, remember Swans?
Yeah. Well, Hickman sure does.
I know. And I was like,
he's like, nobody's using my swans.
I was like, holy crap, the Swans. Okay.
Makes sense.
Right? And like, we get this creepy, great, like, story within a story. This is me telling you, I really wish this book was going on.
I know.
Like,
yeah.
I really do wish
there was
that
more
they
of this
was
book.
continuing doing that. But like, you know, the fact that we got 8 issues of this, I think is incredible.
Yeah.
Because if it weren't for Hickman's name attached to it, I don't think
they'd never make this book. Yeah.
And I am so grateful that we have it.
Yay.
But I do want a little more. You know, this is my give a mouse a cookie. Like, you gave me this book, and now I
right? Well, Hickman's not leaving. You know, Hickman's not leaving Marvel, so maybe we'll get more in like another package.
Sure. I don't know. Maybe a graphic novel. I'll buy it. But I really don't know how many people are like reading this book. I know I am, and I'm just thinking to myself, who's not reading this book? It's a beautiful book and it's well told, and then I realize what I'm asking other people to jump in on, and I'm like, okay,
it's a big
fair.
reach. But at the same time, like, yo, you know, people keep complaining, and it seems to be a lot of them, but apparently it's a vocal minority of people who want like new, innovative, cool characters with a great looking book and a great writer and an awesome premise. And it's like, here you go. And they were like, how about I just keep reading Amazing Spider-Man and make it the #1 book every week?
And that, you know what? But that's fair. You know, when you do something new, you risk it.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Like, it's a risk for you, the consumer, and it's a risk for those who produce it. And I understand that. And the fact is, it's a safer bet to just read something you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
But I this is my put my money where my mouth is.
Exactly.
Like, I wanted this, and this is exactly like what I want to put money into. And I'm happy to do it. Like, each week it comes out and I go, oh gosh, it's $5.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Right. You're like, hey, listen, if you want to push Gods to 12 issues, I'll give you $7.
I would.
Like, everyone here over at in the Gods pool is like, listen, Hickman, tell Marvel that we'll spend the $7 and make the book keep going.
Right.
I would spend $7 to see my favorite book not get canceled.
Yeah. But like, Hickman writes these stories, man, and like, it seriously feels like he's just tapping into some other place, some other plane where this story exists, and he's just telling us the history of it. Like, that's how it feels sometimes when I read certain stories.
Yes.
And like, that's the kind of story I get excited about.
It's like Michelangelo. Like, the creation's in there. I just have to get the marble out of
find it. Yeah. I mean, it's like when Spurrier's writing Hellblazer, it's like he talked to John.
Yeah.
It's like John just told him what to write down. Okay, and then this crazy bollocks thing happened. And
I wonder if Moore introduced them.
But yeah, like, Hickman's just I'm not even gonna get into this. This is so out there.
Right. It's like
so out there, and there's so much, and I love it. This issue was creepy and bizarre, and, you know, has like a what the heck kind of moment at the end, but, you know, it's just, you know, it's just, there's an element of story too, and like, the story that they tell is phenomenal, and it's scary, and I love it. Like, the story is like this bedtime story for the Swans, the little girls, right? They're like little girl versions of the Swans, right? And like, the story is like, you know, there was this village, and like, this guy showed up, and like, no one had ever seen anything like him before, and like, so like, they like, you know, like fawned over him, and like, you know, fed him and all that, and like, you know, he, you know, banged a bunch of ladies, right? And when they were done taking from him what they wanted, they put him in a pot and they cooked him and ate him. And I was like,
what? Right. It's like, yeah.
And the way Hickman tells it, like, you're just looking at this story, and that's when you realize that the village was a village of women, and they'd never seen a man before. And I'm like, but he didn't have to say any of it. It just unfolds. And I'm like,
yeah.
God, like, this was just great this week. And I just really, really enjoyed it. You know, Wynn's making deals and you know, being crafty, and he's, you know.
Would you say he's wheeling and dealing?
I guess I might say that. And he's using Mia to help get something back that was stolen from him by like these other like folk who are dressed like old, like, you know, no 1940s 50s. I don't know, fashion nurses.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
look like Nurse Ratched, so yeah.
And this sequence is great where they're like this dude, they have to find these men, and I'm like, are you the storybook lady?
Right. Oh no.
Oh no, right? And you know, like they ask all these questions, and I there's just something about it. I love this. Like, have you ever committed a crime? Again, have you ever wanted to? Like, what month were you born in? Was it day or night? And like, once you've checked off enough of the boxes, they're like, excellent.
Now we'll eat you.
No, and then there's like an egg that's been sitting in front of him, like this little egg, and she's like, now I want you to open it. And so he just looks at it, and it opens, and it's like he's like, ah. And she's like, and now you have to write down what you see. And like he's like bleeding out of his face as it's happening. And then she takes this big, like old antique looking like stone hammer and just hits him in the head with it. And then tentacles take him away. And all he wrote down was these 2 letters. And they're like, wow, we got 2 letters this time. And I'm like,
like, how many people are they going through?
You like when you see the board, you're like, it's a lot. And, like, I don't know what this is, and I don't care. I just love it, and I want more of it. You know, like,
you should read his Shield book.
I'm sure, but like this is where
I mean, it's all connected.
Oh no,
he puts it all together.
I understand that, but this is so him swinging from the fences.
Yeah.
You know, it's magic, it's lore, it's myth, it's Marvel, it's all of it at once, and I love it.
Yay! That's the quote that they won't put on the cover. Well, we should address a couple of super chats.
Oh my gosh, sure. No. That's it. Go ahead.
But Bear Farmer says, why do all the Fall of X books this month take place after Iron Man 15? That doesn't come out until the end of the month. It's very suck. Anyways, are you guys enjoying Batman Off-World? Hell yeah, I love Batman Off-World.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, for sure. No, I don't know if what happened with that. I don't know if it's like a scheduling issue or what have you, but I did notice a bunch of things that were like this, that, and the other thing, and I'm like, oh crap, all right. Additionally, I should have mentioned Blair Skeety's art is incredible. The book is gorgeous. I shouldn't just say it's just Hickman. Freaking Skeety's work is like top tier. He's just really, it's phenomenal. I don't know who's coloring this book, but they get
I assume it's Tamara Bonvillain.
They get it. Who's the colorist?
Marta Gracia. That makes sense.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Marta Gracia is one of the best colorists.
Gorgeous
on the big 2.
Yeah,
easily. Somebody said get some IGN quotes instead. No. They won't use IGN. They'll use comicfart.biz. Like they use quotes from companies and groups that I'm like, who the crap is that? And they're never like really strong quotes either. They're like, it's a book you can read from Comic Fart. Oh, there was a moment in there was a Mr. Sunday put out a video like today, I think.
Okay.
And Mason completely just destroyed us. Yeah. He wasn't deliberate. It was clearly like he was talking about like doing a review of The Last Airbender because they watched the first 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And he said something like they were talking about like how they were gonna and he's like, come on, talk about it. And he's like, oh, you know, what am I gonna say? Like, oh, it's a big fart. That's what it is. It's just a big fart. I know an airbender or something like that. And I'm like, hey, you just completely describe what our show is. Like, congratulations. Like, that's literally us. Like, that's a review I think I can get behind. Ha 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 ha. And I'm like, yeah, that's a none too subtle reference to us. Because it's just a big stupid comic book because it's just a big stupid fart joke.
Or to back issues.
I think that's back issues.
Yeah,
you don't make those jokes. But, anyway, Dex Baker says, circling back to a complaint from a week ago about Google Books. There's no current indie on the app. Even books DC farms to other publishers.
Oh,
yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
I'm sorry.
Stupid. I'm sorry, man.
That sucks.
Moon Knight 32. Love the recent Amalgam Elseworlds episode. My 8-year-old son Dakin was so enamored with Dakin. I never know what the pronunciation is. I'm sorry, but that's really cool. He was enamored with the ideas that we now spend an hour each night making up our own Amalgam characters and talking to comics. That's dope, man.
I love that so much.
What a friggin' what a bucket list life goal you have achieved, my friend. Congratulations, man. Cherish those moments.
Yeah.
Keep it right. Keep it. Take all your ideas. Actually, there's a company now. I'm not shilling for them because I don't know them, so I'll just say Google it. But like, kids draw a lot of crap, and you got to like keep all this crap. You can mail all their crap to like some company, and they'll make like a book out of it.
Oh, that's cool.
And they, by the way, it's not like they make a book out of the art. They scan the art and then you get a book of the art. They burn the art, obviously, because like who's going to keep that? But you should keep all
Don't you want the original
I
stuff?
think you would. I'm like, no, it's really sad actually. But for this kind of idea where it's like you draw in ideas and write them down, take all those things and make a book out of it. Not a comic book necessarily, but just make a book. Be like, this is our Amalgam book. This is when we spent, like, when you were 8, we worked together. We spent every night making these characters, and here's our universe we've created together. That'd be something to do.
Hi, I'm Tiffany from Make a Book Out of It. When we make a book for you, we take the artwork, your original artwork, and we scan it in such a way that we remove the soul and spirit from into our scans. It destroys the work, but it's with you forever.
Yeah, that's right. You get to keep it, and it's in a resolution that will not be as good as real, but will still exist.
But like, we have to rip the essence of it out of there.
Oh yeah,
and the only way
naturally.
to do that is by destroying it.
So you have a great future in AI. Red Samurai, do you have a list of your top 10 favorite writers? I'm trying to make a pull list, so it's Hickman, Waid, Ram V, King, maybe Jason Aaron. P.S. would love to see more Asian and Africans writing comic books. Hell yeah. I mean,
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah, do I have a list? No. Can I make one? Probably.
Salisbury.
You know.
Kieran Gillen.
Yep, Al Ewing.
I like Peach Momoko.
I know. Peach
I
Momoko.
think she's
There you
great.
go.
I literally cannot
You
wait.
like her stories, yeah.
I keep trying to like nudge myself up.
You know, you could just these have a lever.
I know.
You could just use that.
No, I gotta sit up straight. I gotta use my core.
Yeah, I mean Tom and Tom and Chip and Josh and folk are up on that list, definitely. I don't know. I don't want to throw anybody, there's a lot.
I don't want to miss somebody.
Exactly. I don't want to miss anybody. Exactly. Kieran Weisenberg, hey Sal and Tiffany, really have been enjoying the creator interviews over on Elseworlds. Thanks as always for great content. Cheers. Cheers to you, Kieran. Thank you so much, man. Another one coming out tomorrow. The Todd Father's coming to the channel. Stay tuned tomorrow for a really fun conversation with me and Todd McFarlane, where there was no intent, there was no plan. Like I think the original idea was we were going to promote Spawn 350, and then I was like, well, it was one of those moments where I'm like, wow, like Todd's like, just do whatever, man, and I'm like, okay. So we just talked about anything.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Kevin Kruger, JLA Avengers is not in the DC Marvel Omnibus books. Yeah, unfortunately, that's true. Do you think it will be reprinted? Yes, I do. I think in my heart of hearts, it will be reprinted. Girk Pectus, I liked it when Marvel tried to make Hippolytus their Wonder Woman. If they do a DC crossover, it should be an interesting subplot for her to meet Wonder Woman. Yeah, that'd be like if whoever is the woman from the... Yeah, I'd rather She-Hulk and Wonder Woman fought or met. They've met before, but, I consider She-Hulk to be kind of like the Wonder Woman. Noah Kennedy, hey gang, wanted to send some love and just say that I love the family-oriented approach of Ultimate Spider-Man. Talk about a breath of fresh air. You said it, my friend. Judson Anastasio Rudick, if you're reading this, I'm already dead. If you're reading this, I'm already dead is the only indie I'm reading. Okay, I think that's probably the book.
I was like,
if you're reading this, I'm dead. I want to live myself.
I'm like, we have to,
right?
We have to call someone.
Yeah. Thoughts on the series and any recs for other indies to start once it's over? I've not read any of it.
I also have not read any of it.
But I would recommend stuff like Kill Your Darlings or
it depends. I don't know what it's about.
Right?
Like, what's the genre?
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know what the genre is.
Because there's so many things I could recommend. Like, you could read Dark Spaces Dungeon.
Yes, Dungeon.
For sure.
Even I've read all that.
Yeah, it's good.
It's only 3 issues, but still.
It's really good. No, it's not. It's 4.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, is it?
I think it's only 3
I don't know,
so
it's
far.
really, really
there's
good,
more issues than 3.
Or like if you like fantasy stuff, then Hunger in the Dusk.
Yes.
And some other non-IDW books.
Exactly.
But still.
Nick Palmer, ComicPop woo to you as well. Love everything you guys do. Thank you. Been sharing my love of comics with my son, and back issues has been a huge part of that. Well, I'm sorry for the cursing. Thank you from us to the whole ComicPop crew. Thank you very much, Nick, and love to you and your kid. We appreciate you watching, man. Thank you. Super Kami Dende, since I'm in college age, the college era of Spider-Man hits different. Does the allure of younger heroes go away the older you get? No, because I think I was out of college when I started reading Ultimate Spider-Man. So, no, I was like, wow. It was more like if it hits, if it captures something true and genuine about being young, you will find it appealing. But yeah.
I got to tell you, when you said in your heart of hearts, my brain immediately went to Evangelion.
Yeah, why?
Because of the song "Komm zu Sir Todd." I don't know how to speak German,
Yeah.
It's a line
It
from
means
there.
that? Yeah, okay.
No, there's just a line from there. Like they use that line in that song. And I'm
Oh.
like, now it's in my head. So thanks. I love that song though.
Awesome.
So it's okay.
Did you order food?
No, I'm doing that right now.
Okay.
What do you want? Do you want the thing you had last time or the thing you usually have?
The thing I usually have.
Okay.
Danvy 900, World's Finest was my favorite issue of the week. That epilogue and how it ties in perfectly, especially that last page. I know DC won't do it, but it'd be hard. But I buy a version of Kingdom Come with the World's Finest epilogue. I feel the same way, man. I loved it. I thought it was great. They nailed it. Although I still think the perfect World's Finest, or the perfect Kingdom Come epilogue, is that one page of Superman aging through the years and it ending with the Legion of Superheroes. It's so good. It's so perfect, and I'm so glad I found it way later. You know, where I was like, oh, I love Kingdom Come. It might be one of my favorite DC books of all time. And then 10 years, 20 years later, I was like, what? There's more, a little more. And it's a beautiful, silent page. Ugh. Raidu, happy Monday, Comic Pop. I like your idea about Speed Force related crossover. Hey, Tiffany.
Hey.
Maybe they can center it around Fast Forward, aka Buried Alien. Ha! If ever they could bring back Buried Alien, it would be in a crossover since they wouldn't have to hide it anymore. LJ, hey, Comic Pop, just wanted to say that I look forward to every week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Also, I want to shout out the current Fantastic Four book. I love the crazy stories. I'm glad you like it, man. I want to like Fantastic Four. I wish I did. I like the Fantastic Four. I wish I liked this book.
Right.
I don't not like it, but I don't like it enough to buy it. The Titan Zero, the artist has said that Gods is ending for now, emphasizing that for now part. So hopefully they're just taking a break. Okay, if Skeety wants to take a break, that's fine, as long as the book comes back. That'd be nice.
So gorgeous. It's just such a good book.
And Metaphor, does DC need a new Aquaman book? Who would you want on that book? For me, Jeff Lemire writing, Dexter Sawyer, Raphael Sandoval, Tomi More colors. Interesting. Okay. I've never cared. The thing is, it would be very hard for me to want to read an Aquaman book. It'd be very hard.
Make it a horror book and I'll be in.
We have one. It's by Ram V. It's called Andromeda. We have the whole hardcover.
I know, but I'm just saying, make it an ongoing.
Right, an ongoing. Yeah,
scary book.
So Cy Spurrier and who would you like to see draw it?
Aaron Campbell.
Yeah, Aaron Campbell knows how to draw ports and the ocean and ships.
Yeah,
we've seen it.
I want it to be when you're looking at the page, it's scary.
The ocean is scary. You're terrified of the ocean.
I'm not terrified of the ocean.
You're terrified of what's in it.
I am terrified of what's in it. I am terrified of there's actually I don't remember what the phobia is called, but I have no doubt Chad can look this up for me or knows it. It's that deep water thing.
Not afraid of the ocean, but afraid of how deep it gets.
Yeah, I can go out in the water to a point, and I can even be not touching the ground, and I'm fine. But then if we're playing a video game, I do not want to look in the water.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, Spurrier and Campbell doing an Aquaman book, I guess I would also read that book too. Because I'd be like, all right, well, we got to see this.
Yeah.
When it's Aquaman, it's like, I don't care.
Is it thalassophobia?
Thalassophobia.
Thalassophobia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you have aliophagia.
That's it. No, but that is me. I 100% have that. It's not a fear of drowning. It's not a fear of any of that. It is literally just what is down there.
Yeah.
It's deep ocean. I get a kick out of seeing when people when there's whales swimming and stuff like that. But then if you put a person next to I'm like, no, I freak out. Nope.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you don't like to feel insignificant.
I do enough of that every day.
Exactly. Superman 11 by David Baldeon and Joshua Williamson. It's just fun. It's just good old-fashioned classic Superman stuff. All the villains have teamed up.
All of them.
Well, all the villains.
Every single villain.
God. So Farm and so forth, and they've enacted their super plan to kill Lex Luthor.
Farm.
Yeah, Farm. PHARM. Have teamed up, and they've always been teamed up, but now they're hatching their scheme. They're going to kill Lex Luthor, and they're going to take down Superman, and they're going to poison Krypton they're going to poison Metropolis with a kryptonite cloud that has been synthesized and changed in ways that we can't possibly imagine. Or maybe we could if we read issue 12. It's just fun. It's just a classic Superman stuff. The art is exemplary for Superman. You see Superman's big, but and fun when he's got red kryptonite and he's angry, he's scary, and when he's heroic, he's heroic and relatable, and it's just a fun book. It's just a genuinely it reminds me of when I thought I needed to read Superman in the 90s, when I picked up Superman because Superman died, and I thought, well, I just read him dying, I guess I'll keep reading it. And I read all of Superman for a year or two, and I was like, what is happening? and I suddenly became a Superman fan. Like that's what it feels like. It has that feeling of like essentialness. So yeah, it's nice. It's a good book. Keep reading it.
Awesome. I have another book that
Yes,
I
I
read,
know.
and I'm still stuck on this ocean thing because someone was like, "Oh, so an Aquaman video game?" Then I'm like, you know what? That's different. I'm already in the water.
Right.
It's just if I have to look down and it's dark,
no,
then
yeah,
I'm gonna have a problem.
Well, it's like if I can't breathe underwater and I also like I'm not Aquaman, I don't want to see that. It's
no,
scary.
No, the breathing part is not the problem. It's
no,
the, like,
it's just it's the unknown.
But like, I guess if I was already like, like in, I don't know. No, I think it'd still be a problem. You're probably right. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like I probably couldn't do deep space either.
Hell no. You didn't see Gravity.
Like
you don't want to see that.
I didn't. I'm just saying, like, I have too much like enjoyment of like cosmic horror stuff to not imagine there's something looking back.
Yeah. Well,
like,
the word for me, the fear is that there's nothing looking.
Like, what if I go crazy and peel my own skin off? I don't want to do that.
No, I guess you wouldn't want to do that.
I read Rise of the Powers of 10.
Yes.
Number 2 this week, written by Kieran Gillen, with art by R.B. Silva.
Yay.
Yeah, man. This book is great. It has not answered a question I still had. It does circle back to that Dead X-Men book where they were like, yeah, we resurrected the X-Men team that died during the Hellfire Gala. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yeah.
Right, you're like, how?
They're like, we definitely did that. And I was like, cool, because I know there was a lot of theories in chat about maybe like they plucked them from time.
Yes.
No, they just resurrected them. And I'm like, but where did you get the DNA from?
Yeah.
Were we all just like, oh, hey, I think I have part of Jubilee's scalp on my shirt. Oops.
Yeah. I'm telling you, they just gotta, no. Yeah. I don't know.
But here's the thing, this issue is great. It's like, it's out there, it's wild. It's, it is very Powers of 10 level stuff.
Sure.
Rise of the Powers of 10. We got those like bizarre concepts. It's Enigma trying to find Xavier. He's like, I can't see him and I should be able to see everything. And then realizes that like I must have a no place and he's hiding from me, right? As Xavier is mounting to go back in time and kill Moira. He tells others that he's not going to do that, but like folk figure it out. Cypher is like really antagonistic about certain things. And it turns out
he mattered before and now he's not even going to be an X-Men after this.
It turns out he's not quite Cypher. It's Sinister inside of Cypher. Oh. No, they brought him, like they did that so that he could help.
Right.
Like Xavier, like it's not like Xavier doesn't know. It's how they were able to like do certain things, but they're also hiding it from everyone else, right? So there's a lot going on here. The end of this indicates that Enigma is going to reach out to Moira. And he's like, we have to like form like some sort of like alliance of some kind, right?
Yeah.
Which may feed into my like, perhaps this is part of like Moira's like last ditch effort to save him. Like, listen, am I trying desperately?
You are trying to make this Moira thing work because I know. I'm trying to
make this whole thing work. I'm trying to make this whole thing work, and I know they're not going to do it. But I was like, is there some way that this was what Moira foresaw? That like the only way this could ever work out is either A,
to become the villain.
To become the villain and like join up with the Phalanx so that like humanity and mutantdom would have like an Ozymandias enemy.
I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Or is it that she was hoping that legitimately that the mutants would be off world because they're not here, they're on Araco and they're like in like the white hot room, that like the humans would become part of the Dominion and then leave the planet,
and
or
then
like
the mutants would inherit
or
the
they
Earth.
could go to Araco and they'd be like doing their thing. I'm trying so hard.
I think
like,
you're right. I think you're onto something
here. So hard, right? I don't know. But here's what I do know. I was reading this and I can't tell if there's like a super subtle message. Maybe it's not that subtle.
It's Kieran Gillen.
So maybe it's not that subtle, or maybe it is.
No,
or
I think so. It is
message,
there. It's definitely there.
So we're talking a lot about how there's like the Dominion AI and all that, right? And that like that's what Enigma became. He became like, or that's what this whoever this Essex is that became the Dominion, like this.
So he has like extra fingers and he's like weird looking and his clothes don't like his clothes done into his
But
flesh.
hang on, hear me out. Listen, I was reading this book, right? And I was like, okay, so it's the Dominion AI, and I was like, is Gillen like using this literally as like an analogy for current AI? Because when you think about it, Enigma's plans all came to fruition by stealing the other clones' plans. And I was like, is this like a little like this
like AI comes
from? This is how machine learning learned, by stealing everyone's art.
Yeah, and then giving you like some kind of weird like blend of it.
Right.
I love that.
I was like, is that Is that what is he saying that? Is this like a little tiny, just like
Why wouldn't it be? Absolutely. Yeah. I hope so.
I love it. I was like, if that's what it is, I want to high five him. I really do. I love it.
He needs to go to more like stuff. Like Kieran Gillen has been to New York Comic Con. Why wasn't he there this year? What the hell?
It's a long flight.
There's other people
You hate flying across the country.
Yeah, it's long and it's horrible. Flight sucks. It's a miracle.
But it's a miracle.
It's a miracle, and it's also horrible. I don't even need teleportation. I just need a drug that could knock me the hell out and have like a person puppet me until I get to my destination. I don't want to be on a plane. I hate it. It's horrible. Anyway,
fair. No, this was an excellent issue. That's just feeding into whatever is coming next. They mentioned specifically that this takes place post Dead X-Men 1 and 2. They seemingly have found the Moira who didn't become a robot.
Oh, good.
So that Xavier can go and talk with her and like ask certain questions.
Sure.
And then we'll see where it goes from there. We're like, will Xavier like finish this off? This started with the two of them on a bench. How is it going to end?
That'd be kind of fun.
And I'm very excited for this, because presumably Xavier's plan is to kill her before her powers manifest and it will destroy Krakoa.
I guess that's true.
And that's all he can. He's like, that's all I can do because we have to prevent the Dominion.
Right. If they did, I guess things would just progress as normal. And then, I mean, he doesn't have to kill her. He just has to shoot her with the unmutant ray. Mm-hmm.
If they did that, hear me out, folks. All right. So like either they're not going to do it, either they're not going to like go like, no, this didn't happen. Because I feel like they're not going to do that. I feel like they're not going to unmake the Krakoa era. Right?
I hope not.
Because if they did, then Dark Web never happened.
Right. Yeah, then Chasm doesn't exist.
Right?
No, that's not true. He does exist. That still happened. But he won't be in limbo anymore.
But like, no, Chasm wouldn't exist.
No, Chasm happens because of Beyond.
Right.
He falls in some bullshit.
That had something directly to do with Maddie.
No. Okay, Maddie, you're right. It's just someone noticed that there were two clones.
Yes, you're right. But we're just saying Dark Web didn't happen.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
Wouldn't it? There'd be a lot of things that would change. So I don't think they're going to do that.
No.
Which I'm okay. I'm thrilled if they don't. But I get if they do, it's clean. It's easy.
Honestly, what they need to do out of this, because they don't have a plan, and or at least it seems that way.
Yeah,
there's no plan for X-Men. It's like
post this,
like make it look like the cartoon. Like I feel like that's the only directive based on every bit of multimedia that has been pushed towards us.
Yeah,
is like Wolverine's gonna wear a yellow suit with blue shoulder guards,
right,
and there's gonna be a mansion, and they're gonna live in it, and Sentinels are gonna attack, and
right.
and that like I swear that's gonna happen, but. If you want a big thing in the middle, you get the British Trust, and you hand them the Age of Apocalypse story, and you do Age of Apocalypse.
But like clearly they're all like going away after this for a while.
Yeah, but I mean, give them one big hurrah where it's like, because obviously it's this, but like build your own universe where it's like the future's evil, or where the future's messed up.
No,
where like
and again, like I am that person though who I can be thankful for what we got.
Yes.
This has been going on for years, cool. And it has been a thrill and a delight. And I, even now when I'm questioning, like, how do they get the genetic material to bring these X-Men back? That's like a drop in the bucket of things that they're making make sense, and they are aligning here. So if that's the only thing I'm complaining about,
it's not bad.
They're doing a great job.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I don't even remember if Dead X-Men 2 came out.
It comes out, I think, this week.
Okay, because they said that this happens after those two.
No, that comes out this week.
I think something got messed up in terms of timing.
But
it's okay. This is Powers of X. Powers of X, or Rise of the Powers of X, gets to kind of do its own thing. It's just like Powers of X kind of did its own thing when it was coming out. It was intrinsically like related, but still. Yeah, this is a really solid issue. Gillen doing really great work, and again, I really hope that AI thing is what it was.
A dig. I agree.
But man, I got to tell you, like, as much as I hate certain characters like Red Ghost, like, and just have no love for them, Nathaniel Essex and his ilk, I love to hate them.
Right, they're fun to hate them.
Yeah,
I agree. I read Batman 144. This is the conclusion of Joker Year One. Giuseppe Camuncoli, Andrew Sorrentino, Chip Zdarsky. I enjoyed this. It was fun. It's very much like a sequel to Zero Year. It is a Jim Gordon centric book. There's literally a sequence where like Batman's like, I can't go there. Jim's just gonna have to handle it. I'm like, hooray! Jim can handle it. Let's see.
Yeah.
We see like the Zdarsky is like what he's doing is he's squaring a lot of circles. Like he's connecting a lot of different things, which we talked about in issue 143. So it's like, yeah, all right, we get it. But the art's good. I see the like character model is Ben Affleck for Batman in the future stories for Andrew Sorrentino. I enjoyed it, and I can't complain. It was fun. You know, like, and I liked how it all came together. It wasn't a brain buster. It wasn't like, oh man, there's a mystery afoot, and it was just more like, yeah, it's a story. It unfolded. It felt like classic Batman story. The Three Jokers thing is gone. Like they were like, we did it, moving on. Like it's Joker now, it's whatever. And it's like, yeah, it's fine. It doesn't hurt. It just filled the space and did a thing. And sometimes that's all you can do.
Okay.
Then I don't want to talk about it anymore. What's it called? You Watch the Almighty says newish fan. Right on. Thank you. Welcome. You guys have put me on to so many great comics. That's great to hear.
Yay!
I've also spent a lot of money thanks to you. I'm sorry. So thanks for that too. Also happy to support the industry. God bless you too, man.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Blended Time says, hey guys, big fan of the channel. Thank you very much. I'm new to comics, reading DC Rebirth and Ultimate Spider-Man, old and new, and having a blast. Much love to the team.
Well,
That's fantastic. I love hearing that, man. And I'm glad to know that, like, some of these books that, like, I was like, these are amazing when they were coming out. Like, people are rereading them now, and they're like, these are really cool. J-Mail 1984, greetings, Popsters. Thanks you very much.
Thank
you too. I love your content, and I had a question. What are Tiffany's thoughts on Immortal Hulk? I remember that it was a horror comic. Yes, the original Al Ewing one. I feel like they might want to revisit that.
Yeah, I've never read it.
We have the omnibus.
I hadn't read it.
You could literally read it all.
Yeah, no, I could. I think I hadn't read it because there's some books where I know we're going to do them on the couch, and there's a chance I have to sub in.
It's true.
And so, like, if I know something's coming up, I try not to jump into it unless I'm 100% like Sal's like, I have to do it with Ben and Ethan. Like, this is what it has to be.
Yeah.
Like, there's a book you guys just did. I was like, if I had wanted to read it, I didn't, obviously. But like, if I had wanted to read it, it would have been fine.
Yes.
It would not have been a problem.
It's true.
Because you definitely wanted to do it with those two.
Yeah.
So some books I just kind of hang off on, like Sal stopped reading a book that I might do for Halloween next year.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Right.
So.
Thorn Identity says, which is Tiffany's favorite Fall of X book?
That's a really excellent question. And I do think it's Rise of the Powers of 10. I do like Fall of the House of X quite a bit. But I do like Gillen writing for Xavier.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right. Because there's Jean Grey.
I forgot that was part of it.
Right.
Jean Grey was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was really, really, really good.
Right. There was more Immortal X-Men. There was
Immortal X-Men was excellent. It was excellent.
Yeah, X-Men Red.
Yeah, X-Men Red is spectacular as well. Scroll down a little bit. Yeah, no, I mean Immortal just was Gillen anyway. Yeah. No, I do think it might be Gillen's Immortal X-Men to
Powers of 10.
Yeah, Rise of the Powers.
That's fair.
For sure.
I also read Ultimate Spider-Man #2 from little known writer Jonathan Hickman with art by Marco Cicchetto. Yeah, it's true.
Have I read anything he's ever written?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you'd like it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
I read it too.
So this is, I know.
Okay.
So this is we called the episode Ultimate Spider-Man's in trouble, and he is. Someone was like,
but not the book.
Someone's like, how's the book in trouble? And I'm like, well, that's what you're supposed to click on and find out. And the bait and switch is that the book is still great, and that it's the character who's in trouble, and not just because he's Spider-Man and he's always in trouble, but also because of the decisions he made. And I was literally thinking about it when he made that decision, like, oh my God, he shouldn't do that, or at least, oh my God, how is it going to affect it? And indeed, here it is. Literally, there's actually a tease to it and the future and horrible shit on the last page. And I went, no! But yeah, so the art is spectacular. Marco Cicchetto is on the top of his game. Amazing looking book.
I was literally going to ask you in this episode, like, how does it feel to see Marco Cicchetto drawing a suit that's similar to one of your favorite Spider-Man
one of my favorites, but yeah.
Suits. Like, what is that even like? Like,
It's great.
Like,
I mean,
you love Chichetto.
I do love Chichetto, and I love the black suit. And this is, I mean, it's just it's a silhouette.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm ready for him to be in the red and black, or the red and blue. Like, I'm ready for that. But it's cool. It's great. I mean, I'm just happy that a Spider-Man book is treated like a AAA title. You know, like, you would think, because I was asked this recently. People were asking, someone was asking me, like, you know, is there a Batman at Marvel? In terms of, like, if Batman doesn't come out, comic book stores close. And, like, if they stop printing Batman, like, Marvel suffers.
Yeah.
That's just a. I remember I said something recently on a show, and somebody was like, a lot of generalizations from that guy. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes I'm freaking right. And in this case, I am. And I'm backed up by data. But, like, Marvel is helped by Batman coming out. There is no Marvel equivalent.
Right.
You know, Marvel is assisted in terms of book publishing by Batman. But if Marvel chooses not to publish Amazing Spider-Man, everybody still is fine, except for the people who make Amazing Spider-Man. But that's it. And, you know, but Spider-Man should be that.
Right.
And Marvel should be gunning for that. They should be like, we should have a Batman. We should be essential. And this should be that. This is better than Amazing in every respect, in terms of it building a mystery and a story and characters and supporting characters. Who is the supporting cast of Amazing Spider-Man? Right? And currently it's Gang War, so, like, it's Luke Cage and it's, like, Madam Mask and stuff. Like, there's a lot of crap in there. But, like, normally, who is it? Like, lately it's been Paul and Peter and Mary Jane. You know, it's like it's been nothing. Like, Aunt May has been a bit part in that whole series. With this, who's the cast for Spider-Man? It's Uncle Ben. It's J. Jonah Jameson. It's Peter's children. It's Mary Jane. It's like, it's the mystery of who the Green Goblin is. It's Kingpin. You know, there's a lot going on here, and it looks great.
It looks phenomenal.
There is no other book coming out from Marvel that looks like this.
No, but there are good books that look.
Yeah, Marvel has some good-looking books. Yes. But so yeah,
like, we just got done talking about how phenomenal, like, Valeria Skeety's work is.
That's
in
true.
Gods.
Oh, I'm sorry.
like, excuse me.
Yeah. Gods looks great too.
Yeah,
so, you know,
they look different.
So we're teasing a lot of things. JJ and Ben have their angle. They're figuring it out, because obviously the Daily Bugle is talking about Spider-Man.
Obviously, as you're reading this book, much like me, you're like, get all the Spider-Man out of the way. Where is JJ and Ben, my favorite duo in comics right now? Because, like, when they showed up, I was like, yay!
Look at these old men who are friends and trying to make the difference. Yeah. I love that Pete's kids have, like, opinions about Spider-Man or the character that is appearing on the cover of the Daily Bugle.
Yep.
I like that the Daily Bugle, I think, is on a tablet. I think that's the idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Pete's become who he was born to be. He's doing his thing. He's not very good at it. He's trying to, like, stop swinging without, like, crashing into water towers. He runs into the Shocker. There's a fun, like, bit of business that reminds me very much of, like, Ultimate Spider-Man / Bendis, where he's talking to Shocker, and Shocker's like, wow, you really, like, you got to me. You really, like,
good at this.
You're good at this. You've really, like, affected me as a human. And he's like, oh, okay, well, right on. And then Shocker just shoots him and throws him in garbage.
Yeah.
And that happens again, where he's like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I have a sick wife. And he's like, oh my God, I didn't realize that. Nope, you're going back in the garbage.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really fun.
Yeah, he's getting the Danny Ketch treatment.
Yes. Hit Spider-Man, throw him in garbage. We have not answered the question of whether it's organic. I assume the suit produces the webbing, because the suit is clearly treated like a symbiote, where the suit, like, the mask recedes when he wants to, like, wear regular clothes or eat ice cream late at night, which you absolutely shouldn't do, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, don't do that. But Mary Jane and the children don't know.
No.
He asked everyone about, like, following his dreams and doing this thing, and they all gave him advice, and then he kept it from them.
Yeah.
I don't like it all. As far as, like, that's something that Peter Parker would absolutely do.
Yeah.
And I don't like it for him, because that's a stupid thing to do.
Well, yes and no. I mean, like,
but it's a great dramatic
there's a
thing to do.
line in this that makes me think he may have been thinking about their safety.
Absolutely.
You know, like he was like, I don't know what this is going to be like, and I don't know what I'm going to end up doing, and I don't want to drag them into it. So
Yeah.
I like he's still making the wrong choice, but I don't think it's for nefarious
No,
or
it's
like
always
selfish reasons. I think he's just like, no, this is the best way to keep them safe, and I'd have to do this.
yeah, yeah. So Ben and Jonah are finding out that like there's the Green Goblin's attacking.
Yeah, but
Um,
the bugle,
Bugle,
but it's being covered up.
yes. So the Bugle is focusing on Spider-Man because they want to distract, and so they're like, well, that's the angle that we're going to go on.
Yeah.
So
With their thing that they haven't started.
they haven't started, but they also have an idea for a name. I assume it's Frontline. We'll find out.
Also, you know, Peter's getting them great photos.
Yes, and Peter's getting them photos.
JJ is like, why doesn't he get them for us?
He's like, because we
don't have a paper.
We don't have anything for him to work for.
Yeah, and he doesn't work for us.
And he doesn't work for us, exactly. So that's exciting. I like that a lot. So then Peter goes home after getting spanked by the Shocker, where he sits on the couch eating ice cream, and he frightens his daughter because she wanders in and she sees that guy that scared her in the newspaper.
Right, which I love because it's very reminiscent of the Mary Jane Venom.
Oh yeah.
Like, but like less intense.
Right.
It's actually him.
Yeah. So he tells her who he is, and he explains like what it's all about, and he bribes her with ice cream, and then you know, she's got some ideas. She got some notes for his look.
Well, later she will.
Yeah. We get we get our inkling into how Kingpin got his position. They reference him as a king, or at least like an installed king, because it's the whole, because Hickman's writing it, so he's like, don't forget my boring plot about like a group of intelligent people who run the world. This isn't really America. Don't forget this amazing this better than Amazing Spider-Man book is actually like not about America. It's actually about like this random crap I made. Also, this is the first time I think that they wanted, that doesn't matter, but like they're the one-eyed guy. I thought it was the previous guard, the guy who was in charge of America or of New York pre-Kingpin.
Right.
But maybe it is Bullseye because he has one eye. Because they also talk about how like he's one of the resources that was given to them.
Right.
Pete's talking to Mary Jane. He runs into Shocker again. They fight, and he gets his butt kicked again. We get one image of Green Goblin, and his daughter May draws the logo that he's going to wear on his Spider-Man costume that we've seen since the solicitations for this book.
Yeah, drew a picture of a spider, of your spider.
I hope you like it. And I'm like, that's awesome. Also, she used red and blue, so it's like, okay.
Yeah, you're the best.
You're the best. Love May.
But she made his suit color blue and his arms red. That's backwards, Spider-Man. I can't handle it.
I know.
Well, I couldn't handle that suit in the Spider-Man game, and I can't handle it here.
That's why when he looked at it, he was like, well, I'm going to use the color scheme. But, you know, not every idea is going to come from May.
Did you like that last line?
No, I did not. It upset me greatly. Says, you might not be cut out for this, but maybe I'll give it one more day. Fight me. I think he's doing it on purpose. I think he's trolling. But but like MJ doesn't know, and she's like, and when she finds out, she's gonna be pissed. And I'm like, but should she? Because she's the one who told him to do it in the first place. She didn't know that was what it was gonna be, but like that was the whole thing. That was the whole argument we had.
That's what she's gonna be pissed about. She's like, I know what I said,
right?
But like, I thought you were gonna like go
start a business or you know,
like have a hobby.
Yeah,
but
no. She assumes he's doing it because she's like, have you been working out? And he's like, maybe. But like, that was the argument. That was the whole conversation we had about the first.
For her, she notices.
I know. Well, she better. He's physically there now all the time.
Like, you know,
but like,
she's paying attention.
Yeah. But at the same time, like when we were talking about the first issue, I remember being like, I don't know if she knows what she's like bargaining for in this. You know what I mean? And I don't know if he's being honest about what his decision is going to be, and I don't know if it's responsible for him to do it. And here we are. So we're living in it. It's like, yeah, it's decompressed storytelling in the best way, where it's like let's not waste it. You know, it'd be like if you made a Spider-Man movie everyone was begging you to do after 2 franchises of it, and then Aunt May finds out Spider-Man's or Peter Parker's Spider-Man, and then you just don't have that conversation. You just skip ahead like a year. It'd be like that. So no, let's spend some time and really like live in it and see. I mean, we just saw May react. Let's see his son react. Let's see MJ react. Let's see Ben react. JJ react. Let's see how this world builds and how it goes. And it's easy to ignore all the Hickman crap.
Yeah.
You know, like who the Kingmakers are. I don't care at all.
Well, again, some people are reading it for different reasons. Like, I like Spider-Man, but
Mhm.
like I love reading the JJ Ben conversations. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
and
fine
they
with the kingdom
matter.
stuff. Like, I like all of it. I like the world building, but like
Absolutely.
I also am like living in a time frame where like my favorite book came back, so like I don't really get to
To
critique
complain. Yeah,
your
that's
your
fair.
complaints.
No, and I'm not really complaining. I'm excited. I love
I
it.
know,
I
I know,
I
I
I
know.
I ripped through it. That's why it was my last book on the pile that I read. Um, Getting into super chats again. Reaver B Dumbass or Dumdass. Sorry, it's pronounced Dumdas. New amalgam idea. Ben and Ethan. Benthan. Beethan. It's Beethan.
Beefing.
We've done that on the couch. Like the guys who talked about it. Like I think we agreed Beethan, which is horrible. Nobody likes
It's
it.
just adding a B to Ethan's name. That's why Ethan likes
No,
it.
because it's no, that's not Ethan's E. That's Ben's E.
You don't.
So that's 2/3 of Ben's name.
Just
What about Beethagim or Beethjamin?
no. Just move on.
Fair enough.
Hey, how about this? What if like they hey, how about this?
Hey!
Mine's the sun. I was just thinking about Gang War and how like this whole thing with like Paul showing up and it being like Peter, Paul, and
And
Mary,
Mary.
and it's like annoying, and then like this whole gang war happens.
Yeah.
You know, let's just throw it all away and let's do it where it's like a totally like hollow way in which we get rid of it, where it's like it turns out this is all mojo.
Right. None of this is real.
None of these characters knew that they were in the Mojo verse.
Oh, none of them are.
And they've just been.
No, Peter's been in the Mojo verse the whole time.
Oh yeah, none of it's real. And
None of
it's
it's real.
Peter has just been there.
He's been missing the whole time. That'd be so great. I'd be very okay with that.
Except that Kamala actually died and had to come back. So.
Oh, I used a couple of real things. You know, Mojo just looks at the camera and he's like, "I used a couple of real things." Ha ha.
Yeah, that happened, but it wasn't him.
Or he's like, "No, she didn't die in Spider-Man. She did die though, and one day we'll tell that story." I don't know. John Ty, why do you think Clark Kent's background being a journalist is never part of his stories in modern runs? I think because
there's no time. He's got to save everybody.
Yeah, there's no time.
He's got shit to do.
The fact is, it's hard enough. Here, pick your books.
Symphony.
It's Symphony. It's hard enough to sell Superman books, and then we're gonna sell them as also like people didn't buy. And the real reason is because nobody bought the Jimmy Olsen book and nobody bought the Lois Lane book. That's why. Because nobody wants to buy that and nobody wants to invest in that. That's the real problem. I mean, like, you know, I'm Superman, the superhero. He has all the powers and he's the coolest and he's great. And no one wants to read about him. And so 2/3 of the book is going to be about him, like having like, you know, journalistic integrity and going on like, you know, surveillance runs. Like it's just not, they don't care. But yeah, anyway. Oh, somebody mentioned that Mojo is going to be in the new Ms. Marvel run, so maybe you're not too far off.
I hate him though.
You're supposed to hate him.
I hate him.
Oh, you also picked that What If A.
I think there's a reason why I picked him more than one reason you picked it. I'm just saying. I don't know. There's a bunch of things here. I have no idea what they are.
I know. It's
I'm
great.
sure there's more. Here, you go first.
All right, fine.
Oh wait, what's your favorite book of the week?
Oh
what's
yeah,
your book
what's
of the
my
week?
book of the week? What
Yeah.
a great question. Tough though. How does one gauge one's response? I mean, it's really a toss-up, honestly, because Ultimate Spider-Man was my most delighted book of the week. But I was so because Ultimate Spider-Man and Wonder Woman are my contenders. Because Wonder Woman was just so good looking.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta go Ultimate Spider-Man. It had the perfect marriage of art and writing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with Wonder Woman, I was like, I was very aware that I was reading.
Okay.
But with Ultimate Spider-Man, it was just a joy. Just a joy. I was like, wee!
That's fair.
Uh-oh! Pete might be in some hot water with Mary Jane, but unlike in the main universe, when there's when there's any tumult, it doesn't mean that some magic demon is going to show up and make it go away. Like marriages work, and there's arguments, and there's decisions that are made. Like it's not like Mary Jane. I assume Ultimate Mary Jane doesn't live perpetually on Reddit, where like every decision she's making, like, oh, something happened in my marriage, and like you should dump him, lawyer up, hit the gym, and dump his ass. Move on.
Hey, if you go home tonight and ask your husband if he is Spider-Man, if he doesn't say yes, I think you should start a fight.
I think so.
I am referencing a very specific person on TikTok.
Yeah, that's right.
Hilarious.
Yeah. What's yours?
I'm torn. I've got 3 great books this week. Obviously, Rise of the Powers of 10, number 2, was phenomenal. Gods, number 5. spectacular. I think I have, of course, got to give it to John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America #2. Yeah, I like literally. I was like, I should probably read this book last.
Yeah.
And I loved Ultimate as well. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
But I like partway through trying to save that for last. I was like, yeah, give it to me. So I think it's definitely that.
Yeah. Yeah. Granite Liberty says, love the show, guys. Thank you very much.
Well,
love an
thank
Ultimate Spider-Man. Meh, the Ultimate Black Panther. New Amalgam idea, Moon Knight and Azrael. Nightfall. Oh, good name. Oh, you know who would have liked that. So yeah, as far as my picks,
What do you got?
they're reprinting Lady Death. There's a 30th anniversary. Can you believe Lady Death is going to be 30
She
this
doesn't
year?
look a day over 700.
Right? Brian Polito, Stephen Hughes. I'm
sorry.
I'm half joking. I have like 10 copies of this because it's like a quarter.
Starting with Lady Death reprint, it's $40.
Oh my God, never mind. I'm rescinding my recommendation. Punisher #4 from David Pepose is coming out. We're gonna find out who the new evil Jigsaw is, with art by Rod Rice. Good looking book and fun. Feels like Punisher, even though it's demonstrably not. Avengers Twilight #3 reminded me I have to read Avengers Twilight 2, and so I'm gonna go do that. And I'm going to read Twilight #3 after that as well. It's a fun series. And Green Arrow #9. What is Ollie doing with Amanda Waller? What the hell are you doing?
Waller's getting a lot of play lately.
Well, yeah, that was a big thing. That was Williamson's pitch.
Oh, okay.
After Dark Crisis.
Okay, fair. Awesome.
How about you?
Yeah, this book that we both picked. Who is writing? Who is this? Oh,
Jeremy Holt.
Jeremy Holt. Thank you. There's a What If coming out. It's What If Venom. I clicked on it because it looks like Venom is wearing Loki's helmet and a Doctor Strange cape.
Yep.
And has Wolverine claws. There's like a lot happening on this
Venom
cover.
became Combo Man.
Became some of your favorite characters and more. I don't know if I'm really going to read this, but I had to talk about it.
Yeah, just what?
Resurrection of Magneto #2. Great book.
Yep.
Al Ewing writing this. Art by Luciano Vecchio. Man, they're just dragging Magneto right on back. Man just left. Let him find some peace here.
Yeah.
Jerry Duggan's writing Invincible Iron Man #15. I read the last one. I'm gonna have to read this one because I'm 99% sure this is very much tied into what's going on. I know it is a Fall of the House X book, but I have to read this one.
Yeah.
And so I recommend you do too if you're on the
War
fall
Machine.
train. Yeah. Wolverine #44, Sabretooth War. If you don't like what's going on in Sabretooth War, don't read this book. It's
I know you don't.
It's part 4. It's fine. I don't love it.
I'm like, you could drop this, it has nothing to do with the Fall of X.
But what if it does?
It doesn't.
All right, maybe I will. I don't know. But I mean, what I do appreciate is that this is what they pitched.
Mm-hmm.
And they're giving this to us.
Yeah, that's true.
So Flash #6, a book a lot of folk aren't a fan of, but I love. I love this book. Simon Spurrier writing it. Mike Deodato Jr. on art. I really, really like this book, but I get you guys. I definitely, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I understand why some folks are kind of like, meh.
Yeah, this is not what I signed on for.
Yeah, Phantom Road #9 is also coming out. There's a book I have not picked up in a minute. I am sadly behind. Oh, that is not.
No.
That is not our friend.
No, it's not.
Oh, wow.
New Conan, yeah.
Wow. I feel like there's other things here.
I know I want to read.
My stupid phone.
I just saw a giant size Fantastic Four, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's kind of fun. Like, I wonder who's working on that. And it looks like it's Fabian Nicieza with art by Kreese Lee. And so, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I probably won't read it, but I'll try.
I'll give it a shot.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot. You got to catch up on some stuff. You jerk.
Yeah. Get off my back.
Everyone who's not complaining about things. I thought there was something else I saw earlier, but you know what? That's enough.
Yeah.
For now.
Ain't that enough?
There's plenty more where that came from. No, I'm sure there's other things that I would like to check out at some point. And I really don't know. Now that I'm looking at this What If Venom, I'm like, am I gonna really read that?
I'll try because there's
that's right. There's also another Cable book coming out.
Yep. And Dead X-Men.
Oh, Dead X-Men #2. Thank you. That is also that. By the way, Cable is also written by Fabian Nicieza. I definitely read like that, so I may not pick that one up. But that just wasn't for me. But Dead X-Men #2, I'm definitely gonna have to read that, where they find the Moira that we have to talk about.
Yeah, and Penguin 7. Penguin 7's coming out.
Oh.
Penguin is a great book. That's great.
Okay. All right, good stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of books. A lot
I know.
of books coming out this
lot
week.
of books. I'm sorry, folks, but I should mention that also Samuel Summers says it was funny seeing you and Comic Pals being pitched Amalgam Comics the same way you and Joel pitched ideas to Joshua Williamson. Felt like a full circle moment. It did indeed. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it was nice of Josh to come on and do us that favor. He also says, I really hope they introduce May as a potential Spider-Girl and Ultimate Spider-Man. In the future, maybe the spider bites her before dying. What happened to that spider? Where is it now? I don't know. Stupid Sandwich, thank you for your generosity, saying, sorry I missed the last few weeks. Don't worry about it, man. I'm glad you're here. I have been ill, but I'm better now. Good to hear. Question regarding the new Amalgam universe. What mechanism would be the best way to tell new stories? Do you still prefer prestige one-shots or something akin to a single Omni? Honestly, they were only released as like single issues, so I would just do the same thing. I'd just be like, boom, 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 boom. Although I can imagine them also being like, we're not going to put the kind of money we put into the last one. Like there were a lot of them. There's enough Amalgam issues to necessitate an omnibus. I can imagine them going like, rather than do that, we'll make 4 Amalgam books that will be 3 issues apiece. Because that was another thing we were talking with Josh about on the sister show, Elseworlds Exchange, in which he was like, part of the sad thing is that like the book just stops. Like there's only one issue. And he and I both speculated, like, I wonder how much more they wanted to tell. Like, it must have been fun to make. It must have been fun to plan. It must have been a bitch to make, but it must have also been like really, really fun to like put together. And I wonder how far they went or how far they wanted to go, but couldn't because, you know.
Yeah.
And you watch the Almighty.
Let me read this one because there's a word in this I have to try to say because I struggled with it last time. You watch the Almighty saying, Lord of the Rings comics when? With how successful the Shadow of Mordor war games were, a gold mine is there. Silmarillion comics would be insane.
I agree.
I got it.
You nailed it.
Think.
Yeah. As it stands, and we speculated this on the show and in like a short we released, but I was like, oh, it's got to be Christopher Tolkien. And yeah, as it turns out, yes. They made one Hobbit comic and Tolkien hated it. And so he's rescinded any rights to make comic books. Dang. And I'm like, that's okay. Christopher Tolkien isn't exactly a arbiter of talent, or the very least of quality. Yeah, I would love to see some Lord of the Rings comics. If you are looking for something similar, and when I say similar, I mean not at all, then you should check out the Last Unicorn comic book from Peter S. Beagle. It's gorgeous looking and also is just like reading the book or watching the movie, but better because it looks better than both those things. Because you know, it's your mind creating an image, which you know who could possibly want to see that. And Rankin and Bass did a nice job with that movie, but you know, it's a little old.
Thank you for all the support, Chad. They were like, yeah,
you did it. You nailed it. Silmarillion. Woo!
Yeah. By the way, talking about that, how Amalgam comics should come out. Remember we were talking a while back about doing like collection comics, kind of like Shonen Jump style, where it's like just parts of the stories. And since the Amalgam comics tend to be fairly short anyway, I feel like it'd be less of a lift for the writers to do that, but maybe there'd be more of an opportunity for longer runs to occur for more of them to come out because it's like, but I want the one where Batman. So I gotta buy this, and I get like all these other amalgams
like
in there.
Dark Claw will always there'll be a trade paperbacks worth of stories for Dark Claw, and you'll get like 6 to 8 page long amalgam stories as well.
Oh, okay. No, I was thinking like
not like it would
be
a
new
whole
ones. I was thinking
that's what I'm saying.
They do like the 80 pagers.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like a whole bunch of like parts of the story, and then you got to pick up the next one to get the rest of the story.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, no, but I'm saying like you do like 6 volumes, and through all 6
Oh.
volumes, there is one full Dark Claw story.
Yeah.
And then in each one, there's one little story for each different amalgam character.
I don't think it's that. I think there's like however many pages is the right amount to do this, because I don't know the page count for this type of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, call it like 8 pages of the Dark Claw story, and then there's like 8 pages of gimmick, and there's like 8 pages of another one. You know what I mean? You take 3 or 4 of them, and you have like, you know, volume 1, 2, 3 of that comes out.
Yes.
And so then you get all 3 of like those stories in completion, but you force people to buy other books when all they maybe wanted was this one.
Yeah.
That's probably not the way that American comics can function. I want it to be.
Who knows?
But I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that's how people want to buy. So I
LB10 says, hey guys, don't want to make you feel old, but I've been watching you guys since middle school, and now I'm listening to you guys every chance in college now.
I hope.
Thanks for all the good vibes.
Doing your studies.
Of course he is. He's in college at doing it. Yeah. But thank you,
Study
man.
it up and take advantage of it.
And thank you so much for watching us for this long.
Yeah.
We really, really appreciate it. I knew you were out there. Because we always have there's a turnover for YouTube. There's a burnout.
That's amazing for you to still be watching. So yeah, no, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And I should also mention that on March 12th, I believe, March 13th, Helen of Windhorn is coming out from the team that gave us Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Tom King, Bill Kazevely. I don't think you've read it yet.
No, I didn't. No, I read a little bit of it.
Yeah, I have. I was gifted a copy to prepare, and it's great. If you love Supergirl, you're gonna love this. It's amazing. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I definitely read a little bit of it.
It's brilliant. You would love it the most. But it comes out on March 13th. So if you want a copy of Helen of Windhorn from Dark Horse, you need to pre-order it. Please let your comic book shop know. Give me a copy of Helen of Windhorn by the way, because it's a bunch of made up nonsense. It's a Helen of Windhorn. So just Google Helen of and Tom King, and you'll get the Windhorn part. But Helen of Windhorn. Check out that book. You know what? I'm even going to go ahead and put it on the screen for you. It's from Previews World. This particular screen. But that way you can just see it, and then you can order it if you need to. Great book, and and of course from Dark Horse. So it's not one of the big two, so you can feel like a smarty pants for reading it. But thank you to our super chatters for sponsoring today's show. Thank you to our chat for keeping it cool and being great, and for your kindness. Thank you to the comic book industry for keeping us employed, and we'll see you guys next week with another episode. If you want more, there's more. There's so much more here on this channel tomorrow. Todd McFarlane's gonna be on the channel. Tiffany's gonna be streaming for the next couple of days over on youtube.com/ComicPop or ComicPop Plays, or on twitch.tv/ComicPop.
Heck yeah.
All links for everything we're looking for here in the description below this video and every video we make.
Yeah, and listen, we were doing God of War, but that's taken a back seat because I am part of the Helldivers now.
That's right. So it's Helldiver time. Honestly, God of War took a backseat to like Phantasmophobia and
Phasmophobia,
whatever,
and Lethal Company. But when I can play Lethal Company with you guys, yes, heck yes. No,
yeah,
I am democracy, liberty.
Yeah, quotations around all those things.
Yeah. We got to fight back the automatons, people. Come on.
Yeah, but
they're kicking our asses.
Definitely check that out. Of course, everything you want is here. And if you want to help us out more, just click the like button. It helps us out somehow. I don't know how, but it does.
But it does, and we appreciate you all for doing it.
We do indeed. So thank you all. We'll see you guys next time. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.